Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. After having a baby with my wife in my dream, they all came true. Chapter 1. Don't come over here. Lin Chuan woke up from his nightmare after being choked by the female demon in his dream countless times. Ding. The host has experienced an incomplete dream reincarnation and gained 100 points this time. As a member of the army of time travelers, Lin Chuan was born into this world and awakened to the system at the age of 18. Its name is the Dream Reincarnation System. As the host, Lin Chuan can transform his own or other people's dreams to a certain extent. And you can get a 100% real experience in dream reincarnation. When he first got the system, Lin Chuan was really good at it. When you are a knight errant, you will wield your sword to the end of the world. When you become a merchant, you will receive countless wealth from all directions. Become the emperor, expand your territory and conquer the 8 wastelands. There are even more flowers that cannot be elaborated on. Lin Chuan didn't realize the seriousness of the matter until the initial points given by the system were used up. Every time before entering the dreamland, Lin Chuan needs to use points to purchase entries in order to get the best experience in the dreamland. Different entries require different points for redemption. For example, the entry Emperor requires 5,000 points, while the entry Sha Ke only requires 1,000 points. In addition, you can also customize your dream heroine or other supporting characters. For example, when the Emperor is dreaming, the Queen's figure, appearance, and clothing can all be changed by purchasing entries with points. The parts that are not customized will be randomly generated based on the intensity of the dream. All in all, the more points you spend, the more complete the customization and the higher the level of enjoyment. After each dream reincarnation is completed, points can be returned, and the amount depends on the degree of exploration of the dream world. One day, Lin Chuan had a sudden idea and spent a lot of points to buy items such as Fantasy Genius Sword Cultivator, Perfect 3060 Female Demon Lord, and opened a new dream. According to the original plan, he should have stepped forward to tame the female demon king and become an unparalleled savior. Unexpectedly, the female demon king not only has a perfect figure and appearance, but also has a perfect realm and combat power. Even if Lin Chuan in the dream is set to be a genius swordsman, the kind that can kill 19 states with one sword. In the dream, I was still beaten so hard by the female demon that I could not find my way to the point where I was even left with a psychological shadow. So there was an immediate dilemma. He didn't explore the dream enough and couldn't break the dream cycle. As soon as he fell asleep, he would be pressed down by the female devil and beaten violently. What a shame. I looked in the bronze mirror and saw that the dark circles under my eyes were getting worse day by day and my face looked haggard. Lin Chuan was about to cry but had no tears. If someone saw him, they would probably laugh at him for being sucked dry by the female ghost. I've saved a lot of points again. When I buy more awesome entries, I won't be able to kill you, a female devil. After countless days of torture, Lin Chuan accumulated a lot of points. Now he can only hope to stand up and take charge by constantly adding debuffs to the female devil in the dream and patching it like crazy. The virtual panel appeared before Lin Chuan's eyes. Entry Mall Advanced Fantasy Edition. Absolutely invincible. Price 99,999,999 plus points. As the Emperor of Heaven, I shall suppress all enemies in the world. Price 66,666,666 points. Stallion Main Body. Selling price 10 million points. It's too expensive and I can't afford it. After just a quick glance, Lin Chuan turned his attention to the next floor. Details of current dream reincarnation. You were born in a low-level fantasy world called Dushuan Continent. You were born with a sword body. As soon as you were born, you attracted strange phenomena from heaven and earth. The Burning Silence divine sword came to this world and recognized you as its master. The direct relatives of the 9 most powerful families in Dushuan Continent have all made a marriage contract with you. When you were 13 years old, you encountered an accident. Your bones were destroyed and your cultivation was completely lost. The person who caused the accident was someone from the devil's path. When you were 16, your engagement was broken off. You are not disheartened because your engagement was broken off, you just say don't bully young people into poverty. In the same year, you discovered a secret. The fundamental reason for your loss of cultivation was that the burning sky divine sword absorbed your power. After absorbing enough energy, the Fenji divine sword will truly blend with you. You find that the burning silence divine sword is damaged and needs to absorb the most powerful strange fire in the world to restore it to its original state. From now on, you embark on the road of searching for strange fire. After going through many difficulties and dangers, you successfully found 35 of the 36 kinds of strange fires. The last kind of strange fire is called red dust heart refining fire. At the age of 30, you got information about the red dust heart refining fire, which was hidden under the forbidden land of the Shenyu Mountains. Now you are one of the most powerful sword cultivators in the world, and the Shenyu Mountain range cannot stop you. In the center of the Shenyan Mountain range, you met a very good-looking woman. It has not existed in ancient times and has never been seen in the world. It is magnificent and beautiful, and it is indescribable. She is so beautiful, the most beautiful woman you have ever seen. No words are enough to describe her appearance. You are tempted. She was also tempted and had the intention to kill. Your goal is to refine your heart in the world of mortals, so a struggle is inevitable. During the battle, you learned her identity. It turns out that she is the current demon lord. The battle lasted for 3 days and 3 nights, and you were defeated by her. You are both the best in the world, but there is still an insurmountable gap in your realm. You have been grabbed by the throat of fate, and your Taoist heart is broken. In the dream, you suffered a huge blow, and your mood fluctuated too much. You have woken up, and this dream reincarnation has been archived. The next time you enter the dreamland, the archive will be automatically read. Lin Chuan felt his scalp numb every time he watched the dream experience. The dream is a 100% real simulation. Being beaten to a broken heart is a severe injury that is more uncomfortable than death. If it weren't for the entry mall that could help him win back a victory, he wouldn't want to fall asleep again. Tongzi, I want to customize the dream supporting role. Lin Chuan thought, and another virtual panel appeared in front of him. Currently customizable supporting role, Female Demon Lord. The Female Devil's entry. Perfect 3060 cannot be deleted or changed, new entries can be added. His eyes kept searching through the endless entries, but with little money and insufficient points, Lin Chuan could only patch up the Female Demon Lord. Hissy. After wearing it, it can increase your attack speed and critical strike at a specific moment. Points required for redemption, 10 points. Escaped by mouth. As we all know, villains are easily persuaded by the protagonist's principles. This physique has a certain chance of allowing you to win through brainwashing through mouth escape. Points required for redemption, 5,000 points. There are a wide variety of patch entries. After searching around, Lin Chuan's eyes settled on an entry. The weakness of the villain. The villain is always so strong and disappointing. The protagonists must find their weaknesses in order to have a chance to make a comeback. After redeeming this entry, a random weakness will be added to the dream villain. Points required for redemption, 10,000 points. It's you, exchange it. There is a qualitative gap in realm between Lin Chuan and the Demon Lord in the dream, and no matter how hard you try, you can't make up for it. The entry weakness of the villain will be his only chance to make a comeback. Otherwise, he will have to suffer endless torture, and he will need to accumulate more points and redeem more powerful entries to get out of this predicament. After the exchange was completed, Lin Chuan lay down on the bed. I don't know how long it took, but sleepiness came over me and I fell asleep again. The graceful figure appeared in front of Lin Chuan again. No matter how many times he saw it, it was still so stunning and he would never get tired of it. But she is not your Bai Yugong, but the most terrifying female devil in this dream world. Demon Lord, the Lord of the world. The heart refining fire in the world of mortals has been taken over by me, get out. The Demon Lord's voice is still so cold. Lin Chuan in the dream reincarnation will be affected by the subconscious of reality and enjoy the blessings of all entries at the same time, but he cannot synchronize with the real world. Looking at the magnificent figure in front of you, your fear is a little less than before. After a brief look at each other, you and the Demon Lord fought again. During the battle, you discovered the weakness of the Demon Lord. She was restricted to the center of the Shenyan mountain range and could not leave. So you started the old 6 mode of fighting and retreating. After countless repeated horizontal jumps on the edge of the mountain range, you accidentally discovered the second form of the Demon Lord. The Demon Lord suddenly became very gentle, without the mania of the past. She said, "I'm sorry, I couldn't control myself and made you hurt." The cold, arrogant and domineering female devil turned into a gentle little sheep overnight, and you are very uncomfortable with it. She comes closer, her flawless face is very close to yours, and her breath is like orchid. You suddenly realize that the breeze smells so good. She said, "Let me help you heal." You subconsciously want to refuse, but she is so beautiful and gentle. Your LSP hidden attribute is stimulated, and the words of rejection are stuck in your throat, and you can't say it out. While healing, she took the initiative and asked, "What's your name?" "My name is Lin Chuan, what's yours?" The current Demon Lord is so prominent, but no one knows her real name. You are also very curious about this. Mo Zhangyu. Good name. You blurted out, saying something against your will for the first time in your life. During the healing period, you talked a lot. You and Mo Zhangyu became good friends, and you decided to help her. Mo Zhangyu said that she can only return to normal state on the night when the lunar star is perfect. At other times, she will be the cold, arrogant and domineering Demon Lord. Mo Zhangyu refused your help. "You go, you are my only friend, I don't want to hurt you." At dawn tonight, Mo Zhangyu will return to the Demon Lord form again. You said firmly, "No, I must save you." Lin Chuan knew this was a dream. Afraid of death, it doesn't exist. Defeating the Demon Lord is the only way for you to complete your dream reincarnation and obtain rewards. What you don't know is that your attitude of looking back at death is deeply imprinted in Mo Zhangyu's heart at this moment. In Mo Zhangyu's life, no one has ever chosen her so firmly. She simply thinks that your friendship transcends life and death. The world of mortals is the only opportunity to refine one's inner fire. With your unremitting efforts, Mo Zhangyu told you the secret of defeating the Demon Lord. You look into her eyes and say, "Wait for me." Mo Zhangyu cried, "Pitiful Chu Chu. You, who are still single, have been captured and are determined to save her. If possible, you want to marry her. At night and dawn, the Demon King comes. I will cut you into pieces." Same appearance, but completely different temperament. The Demon Lord dressed in red is far colder and more cruel than Mo Zhangyu. You fell into deep thought. Are they the same person? At this moment, you think of the legend about the fire of refining the heart in the world of mortals. Refining your heart in the world of mortals will make you feel at peace. If your mind is refined in the world of mortals, you will be at peace. Only by surviving the calamity of the heart can we break the taboos of ancient times and touch a higher realm. No one knows where the heart calamity came from. Maybe the Demon Lord has already noticed something. The Demon Lord is invincible in the world, but limited by the ruined world. He has never been able to break through to a higher state in ancient times. What can restrict the Demon Lord is not the Shenyu mountain range, nor the red dust heart refining fire, but the Demon Lord himself. You suddenly realize, Mo Zhangyu is the result of the demon's heart calamity. Suffer death. The Demon Lord's cold voice pulls you out of your thoughts. You are back within the safety line again. The world of mortals is the only opportunity to refine one's inner fire. Remembering Mo Zhangyu's words, you decided to snatch the food from the tiger's mouth and snatch the red dust heart refining fire from the hands of the Demon Lord. Come here. Known as the contemporary sword god, you used the best seduction method and raised your middle finger to the Demon Lord. This method unexpectedly worked. The Demon Lord is furious. While she was distracted, you sacrificed your lifespan, united your sword and man, and reached heaven and earth at top speed, heading towards the world of mortals to refine your heart. You have successfully arrived at the heart refining fire in the world of mortals. At the moment when I came into contact with the heart refining fire of the world of mortals, something unexpected happened. The red dust heart refining fire merged with your soul at that moment. Like the Demon Lord, you can no longer leave the center of the Shenyu mountain range. PFF'd. The Demon Lord's hand penetrated your chest. She took out your heart in front of you and slowly clenched it with her fingers. No, do not want. At the moment when his heart was about to be crushed, another voice appeared. It was Mo Zhangyu's consciousness awakening. The Demon Lord is in a state of struggle. Taking this opportunity, you will use your whole life to seal the Demon Lord. Given the difference in realm, this seal can only last for 3 days. 3 days later, it may be your death. You are confused. What should I do? Your eyes fall on the red dust heart refining fire. There are 4 balls of soul energy in the flame. The blood red soul energy is the most radiant, which represents the demon lord, followed by a ball of cyan energy, which represents you as the sword god. The third one is yellow energy, which represents you who are attracted by lust and are in love with Mo Sangyu. The last one is aqua blue energy, which represents the gentlest Mo Sangyu in the world. Perhaps only when the 3 masses of soul energy merge into one, can they be qualified to compete with the demon king. Perhaps this is the only opportunity. The result of this is that once you fail, you will be completely wiped out. Lin Chuan subconsciously thought about how to get rid of the reincarnation of dreams. In the dream, he really wanted to save Mo Sangyu. Under the intersection of the 2 consciousnesses, the result is self-evident. You resolutely chose to fuse soul energy and vowed to fulfill your agreement with Mo Sangyu. You sacrificed everything, and the 3 masses of energy merged into one. The sealed demon lord opened her eyes. No. She is not the Langao demon lord now, but the gentlest Sangyu in the world. Mo Sangyu shed tears. She looked at you. Pear blossoms with rain. I felt pity for you. Why do you do this? You will die. She threw herself into your arms, beating your chest with her pink fist, and her tears wetted your clothes. You have only known each other for a day, but it seems that you have loved each other for a lifetime. This feeling is very strange and makes you sink. I said, I will definitely save you. With a beautiful woman in your arms, you feel that life and death are no longer so important at this moment. You and Mo Sangyu look at each other with deep affection. In Mo Sangyu's heart, your friendship for her has transcended life and death, and time is not important. You kissed each other. Fire will burn your body and your clothes. So is this the demon lord's weakness? The fierce fire fades away everything external to the body, leaving everything in silence. The demon lord's weakness is obvious. She is Mo Sangyu. 3 groups of soul energy blend together and become one. The stronger Mo Sangyu's feelings for you, the greater the control he will have over the demon lord's body. The world of mortals refines the heart, and the heart refines the mortal world. One heart transforms 10,000 hearts, and one heart reflects the world of mortals. Husband, love me. Mo Sangyu's snow-white arms wrap around your neck, and you hug each other tightly, feeling the warmest part of each other. Sangyu. At the deepest level of love, Lin Chuan woke up. A dream has ended again. In the real world, a person can only sleep for so long, even though the time of dream reincarnation and the flow of real time are completely different. But it still takes a lot of time to end a complete dream cycle. Ding. The host has experienced an incomplete dream reincarnation and gained 10,000 points this time. It seems that the dreamland is not explored enough. How can we solve the female devil? This dream reincarnation is extremely intense. If all are completed, the reward will definitely be more than 10,000 points. Lin Chuan couldn't help but feel dizzy. When he entered the dream again, he wouldn't be strangled to death by the female devil, right? Forget it, let's go change some pants first. The lingering love in the dream made Lin Chuan reluctant to let go. However, I really had enough sleep this time, and it was difficult to fall asleep even if I forced myself to lie down. Luya, go get a basin of water and bring it to my room. Lin Chuan shouted outside. In the real world, Lin Chuan is the son of a well-known local businessman. Since he came through time travel, he has lived a prosperous life and has no worries about food and clothing. However, his parents died when he was very young. It was his eldest sister Lin Yangyang who raised him. Sister Lin Yangyang is also taking care of all the family business. Therefore, Lin Chuan did not feel any pressure. Since he awakened to the dream-making reincarnation system, he never left the door and studied every day. 100% real experience, customizable supporting characters, unique entries, plus its own random plot. Such a dream is much happier than reality. Not long after, the maid Luya brought a basin of warm water. After Lin Chuan wiped his body clean with a towel, he put on a set of clean clothes. Luya took the old clothes and sent them to the laundry. Am I too deeply affected by the dream? Watching Luya leave, Lin Chuan rubbed his eyes. Before, he thought Luya was a pretty little beauty with delicate features. But compared with the Mo Sangyu in the dream, it is really bleak. It was obviously just a dream, but Mo Sangyu's figure was clearly imprinted in his mind. It should be that this dream reincarnation lasted too long and was tortured repeatedly by the female devil, which caused me to lose consciousness. Lin Chuan comforted himself in his heart. Leave the room and come to the lobby of the house. Lin Chuan's sister Lin Yangyang was discussing something with the guard captain of his caravan. Hey, Chuaner is here. Lin Yangyang was a little surprised to see Lin Chuan. Over the years, she had rarely seen her brother eat on time. At first she thought her brother was possessed by a ghost, so she paid a lot of money to have Taoist priests perform several rituals, but it didn't help. A well-known doctor in the city also came to check, but found nothing. I've met the young master. Guard Captain Zhao Si bowed and saluted. Sister, Uncle Si. Lin Chuan smiled and said, looking at your unhappy faces, what are you discussing? Lin Yangyang was in his prime, and his business was booming. It just so happened that Lin Chuan didn't like worldliness, so he didn't get much involved in the family business. Some weird things have been happening lately. Lin Yangyang replied. Many businesses in nearby counties have had troubles, and their caravans have disappeared out of thin air, leaving no trace behind. So weird. Lin Chuan was surprised. The government officials checked many times and couldn't find any clues. Uncle Si and I suspected that a demon was at work. Lin Yangyang said seriously. Lin Chuan's understanding of the world is very shallow. He has never left the county. Not to mention cultivators and demons, I have not even seen a few decent martial artists. But Lin Chuan firmly believed in the existence of demons. He has read records in books that this world is far larger than the earth in his previous life, and the Yushui County where he is located is just a small place in the northern Yan dynasty. There are countless forces in this world that are greater than the northern Yan dynasty. Monsters and other things are not surprising. It's just that Lin Chuan is too lazy to pursue it. He can't even access the path of cultivation. Entering that field is no different than committing suicide. Maybe it's really a demon. Sister, Uncle Si, you must be careful. It was impossible for Lin Chuan to interfere with the family business, so he could only give a few more warnings. I'm not afraid of monsters. Lin Yangyang smiled and said, if there is a demon in the world, capable people with lofty ideals to kill demons will also appear. Zhao Si echoed. Master, don't worry. If the demon had the ability to wreak havoc, the world would have been in chaos. Young men only dare to do some sneaky things. As the captain of the Lin family's guard, Zhao Si has outstanding military strength and the ability to fight 1 against 10. He has made great contributions to the Lin family and is Lin's father's sworn brother. Even Lin Yangyang respects him very much. Uncle Si is right. Lin Chuan nodded without thinking much. After dinner, Lin Chuan went for a walk on the street. The storyteller in the tea house seemed to be telling stories about monsters. The adults and children sat around the table and listened with great interest. Lin Chuan listened for a while and felt that it was not as interesting as strange tales from a Chinese studio, so he left. Late at night, sleepiness sets in. The figure of Mo Sangyu appeared in Lin Chuan's mind again, and he was somewhat eager to return to that tender night. In a daze, he entered the dream cycle again. After that night, you and Mo Sangyu hugged each other and slept together. As the sword god, you had someone you really wanted to protect. When you woke up again, Mo Sangyu left. A faint fragrance fills the air. It hasn't been long since she left, but you can't feel any fluctuations belonging to her. The red dust heart refining fire has completely merged with you. This is her gift to you. The burning silence divine sword has also completed its final evolution. You have entered a new realm and become the most powerful sword god since ancient times. But your sword has a fatal weakness. Because your heart is trapped. Defeating the demon lord and retrieving Mo Sangyu has become your obsession. You want to hit a higher realm, trying to break the shackles caused by the decline of heaven and earth. You are the enemy of the heaven in this world. I am invincible in the human world. If I don't fight with heaven, who will I fight with? You are defeated. Knowing that there is no hope of breakthrough, you gave all your life's knowledge to the swordsmen in the world. May all sincere swordsmen in the world be able to open the gate of heaven with their swords. That day, the figure of the sword god in white shocked the world. Or it was God's will. After you spent your whole life practicing that sword, the will of the swordsman in the world really helped you break the shackles of heaven and earth. At the end of your life, you have entered an untouchable realm in this era. You only have 3 days left to live. You finally sense the existence of the Demon Lord. You successfully found the Demon Lord. Why did you leave me without even saying goodbye? Looking at her beautiful phoenix eyes, you asked every word. She is dead. The person who responds to you is not Mo Sangyu, but the Demon Lord dressed in red. You turned red and shouted, "Impossible." The Demon Lord looked cold. "If she doesn't die, you will be the one who dies." It turns out that after that night, Mo Sangyu still failed to defeat the Demon Lord's personality. After regaining control of his body, the Demon Lord could not accept what happened that night. The angry Demon Lord wants to kill you. In order to save you, Mo Sangyu promised to completely merge with the Demon Lord and never appear again. You said you wanted to save her, but in the end she saved you. You have only met twice, but you were able to risk your life for each other. Ask what love is in the world, and it will teach you how to make love between life and death. I have been waiting for this day for a long time, come and fight. The Demon Lord, who was born with perfect talent and a flawless Taoist body, broke the shackles of the times before you and stepped into a realm that should have been untouchable. Now he wants to break through the realm and ascend, but it requires the power of 2 people. The Demon Lord will use your power to complete this feat of reversing the times. Can she come back? Lin Chuan had a hunch that after this battle, this dream cycle might end. He looked forward to seeing Mo Sangyu again. Maybe. The flash of loneliness in Demon Lord's eyes was captured by you. This is not the Demon Lord you know. The previous Demon Lord would never show such a look. No, you seem to have thought of something. The Demon Lord and Mo Sangyu have always been the same person, and the 2 souls carried by the same body are destined to merge. The unparalleled figure in front of me could be the Demon Lord or Mo Sangyu. This is the real her. Only when she fully recognizes you can you really get her. Lin Chuan suddenly regretted giving the Demon Lord a perfect character. So much so that in the dream, he was completely attracted, and the emotional impact he received gradually expanded, and he really had to stand up this time. I am very pleased that you are willing to give up the highest realm that people in the world pursue throughout their lives in exchange for 3 days to find her. The Demon Lord looks at you, with an emotion in his eyes that he has never seen before. You can't survive the world of mortals, I'll help you survive it. You look at the Demon Lord, as determined as when you said you wanted to save her that day. You have fought an unprecedented battle. In that battle, the sky was dark and the earth was dark, and everything was trembling. You don't have much life left, but you still lose after all. At the same time, you felt the throbbing from your blood. Your eyes penetrated the space and found the source of the throbbing, which was a little girl. You can't see the girl's face clearly, but you feel very friendly. The little girl holds a wooden sword in her hand and looks like Fenji. She is your daughter. PFF'd. The Demon Lord's palm passes through your chest again. There was no trace of pain on your face. You moved forward step by step, letting your jade arms penetrate your heart to the end. You hugged her tightly, and kissed her under the incredulous eyes of the Demon Lord. The Demon Lord seemed to be frozen in time and showed no resistance. Your life is about to end. You fell into the Demon Lord's arms and handed the Fenji divine sword into her hands. The Demon Lord shed a tear. In the blur, you saw the red dress fade away again and turned into a blue fairy skirt. This dream cycle is over and you wake up. Lin Chuan woke up from his dream and slowly opened his eyes. The pillow was already wet. Gone. It's so powerful. This time the dream cycle lasted too long, leaving Lin Chuan unable to recover for a long time. Well, it's over. Never have such a dream again next time. Deep in love, the feelings in the dream will make him feel fluctuations in the real world, whether he is happy or sad. Ding. The host has completed a complete dream reincarnation and gained 100,000 points this time. Since the intensity of this dream world reaches the standard, the host can receive an additional reward. Please choose 2 of the following rewards to claim them. Reward 1. Burning Silence Sword Technique. Reward 2. Red Dust Refines Heart Fire. Reward 3. A White Sword God Dream Reincarnation Reflection Card. A holographic virtual image appeared in front of Lin Chuan's eyes. These are all things that Lin Chuan has experienced in his dream cycle. Does it still have this function? Lin Chuan was very surprised. He had been reincarnated in dreams many times before, purely for spiritual enjoyment without any real feedback. Now the system tells him that he can bring dream rewards into reality. The ultimate reason is that the previous dream world was not strong enough. Lin Chuan looked at the reward in front of him. The Burning Silence sword technique is a sword manual, which was created by him as the sword god in the dream. You must choose this reward. Lin Chuan stretched out his hand to touch, and the illusory sword manual gradually solidified and fell into his hands. There are 36 styles in Fenji sword manual. Each style requires the fusion of a different kind of fire to release the strongest power. Lin Chuan didn't know if there was any strange fire in this world. If there was, it would be better. Even if there wasn't, the basic sword style of Burning Silence sword technique wouldn't be too weak. At least it would allow him to embark on the path of cultivation and not be as ignorant as he is now. This is undoubtedly the most important point. What should I choose for the second reward? After choosing the sword technique, Lin Chuan fell into a dilemma. The Hongqian heart refining fire combined with the Burning Silence sword art can exert extremely strong combat power, but it may take a long time to cultivate to that state. A dream is a dream after all. In the real world, Lin Chuan was not born with a sword body, nor did he have the Fenji divine sword, so his talent for cultivation is yet to be determined. If you can't conquer the heart-refining fire of the world of mortals, the reward will be wasted. In contrast, the Dream Reincarnation Reflection card is a real-time combat power. Lin Chuan's eyes fell on this card, which was as tall as a person. There was a picture printed on it. He was dressed in white and holding a sword, standing proudly. So handsome. Lin Chuan was so handsome by the person on the card. That kind of temperament is completely different from myself in the real world. By extracting this card, he can gain the power of the White Sword God in the dream world, which can last for 1 hour. After careful consideration, Lin Chuan chose the Dream Reincarnation Reflection card. The news about the demon trouble in the county made him feel vaguely uneasy. With this card, he had the ability to save his life. As long as your life is still there, other things can be obtained again with the help of the system. The world is vast and boundless. In the ancient forest, there was lightning and thunder. A hole was torn open in the void, and a woman in a blue dress led a little girl out of the crack in space. Mom, Daddy, is he really here? The pretty little girl looked up at her beautiful mother, her big eyes full of expectation. My mother will definitely not make a mistake. The woman in the blue dress smiled confidently. But, my mother said the same thing last time. The little girl pouted. Well, the woman in the blue dress paused. This time is different, I can already feel my father's breath. Meng Meng feels it too, right? The woman in the blue dress is none other than Mo Sangyu. In order to find her husband's reincarnation, she followed the guidance of the Great Road, ascended from Dushuan continent, and came to this world. In Dushuan continent, she is an arrogant demon. Here, she is still considered strong, but not the strongest. By feeling the completeness of the rules of heaven and earth, Mo Sangyu knew that there were many more powerful beings than her in this world. But she has confidence. As long as she is given enough time, she can reach the top in this world. Finding a husband is not easy. Only by constantly getting stronger can you accurately lock your husband's reincarnation. Boom! The loud noise in the forest interrupted Mo Sangyu's thoughts. Who is here? How dare you invade Yunmeng ancient forest? Leave quickly. A sound like thunder exploded in the ancient forest, and 4 huge figures rushed from the southeast and northwest. To the east is a fierce tiger with 2 wings on its back and a golden pattern on its forehead. To the west is a giant ape, carrying a huge tree on its shoulders and with red eyes. To the north is a python with 3 heads and densely covered with purple scales. To the south is a big bird with black beads in its mouth and its body covered in fire. These are the 4 ferocious beasts of the Yunmeng ancient forest. They occupy the area here and are kings. They give orders to all beasts, and no creature near the ancient forest dares to disobey. Looking at the woman in blue dress in front of her, the 4 ferocious beast kings surrounded her but refused to attack, and did not dare to move rashly. Mom, what kind of animals are they? They are so ugly. The sound of milky milk rang out, breaking the solemn atmosphere. Meng Meng closes her eyes and counts to 3. Can you please let these ugly monsters go away? Mo Sangyu fondly touched her daughter's head. Okay, The moment her daughter Lin Rumong closed her eyes, Mo Sangyu's blue dress turned into red, and her breath became extremely cold. The terrifying pressure suddenly came. The expressions of the four ferocious beast kings changed drastically, and they instantly transformed into human forms. Their knees weakened and they fell to their knees. 3, 2, 1. 3 counts. When Xiao Rumong opened her eyes again, the four ugly beasts were gone, replaced by 2 strange uncles and 2 beautiful aunts. Wow, the ugly animals are really gone. Mom is so awesome. Xiao Rumong cheered. It's all done by Mengmengshu. Mo Sangyu smiled softly, and then looked at the 4 ferocious beast kings. Isn't this called Yunmeng Ancient Forest? Yes. The 4 ferocious beast kings were dripping with cold sweat and buried their heads extremely low. From now on, Yunmeng Ancient Forest will be my territory. Do you have any objections? Mo Sangyu thought that he should have a home when he first arrived. When my husband comes back in the future, he will also have a place to sleep. What's more, she and her husband are not officially married. The scenery of Yunmeng Ancient Forest is good, so it is used as her dowry. The golden-winged tiger pays homage to the Lord. Akamon pays homage to the Lord. The 3-headed snake pays homage to the Lord. The black flame bird pays homage to the Lord. The 4 ferocious beast kings didn't hesitate at all and immediately kowtowed in submission. This mysterious human woman standing in front of them was much stronger than them. If you refuse, you will definitely die miserably. Give me the information on Yunmeng Ancient Forest. Mo Sangyu was the first-generation lord in Dushuan continent, and he was naturally able to manage a small force at his fingertips. The 4 ferocious beast kings presented detailed information on their respective territories. This world is called the 9-phase realm, which is vast and divided into 9 domains. Each of the 9 regions contains thousands of states. Yunmeng Ancient Forest is a lucky place belonging to one of the small continents. This small island is called Qingyan Prefecture, because a monk who came out of the Supreme Realm here was named Qingyan Supreme, so Qingyan Prefecture got its name. Supreme Realm. Mo Sangyu estimated that his current state was equivalent to the Supreme State, and he should be able to go further after completely transforming the rules of heaven and earth. The earth is too big, which is not a good thing. Where should I go to find my husband's reincarnation? After gradually adapting to the rules of heaven and earth, Mo Sangyu became more and more certain that the reincarnation of her husband Lin Chuan was in this world. It's just that she has never been able to pinpoint her husband's specific location. Mom, when are we going to find Daddy? Xiao Rumong raised her head, saying, Daddy, and, Daddy, silently, full of expectation. The 4 murderer kings twitched their lips. Daddy. What kind of divine figure could subdue such a powerful woman? The most worst thing is that the other party even picked up his pants and ran away. Even from the perspective of the demon race, the human woman in front of her is extremely beautiful. She is a genius, just like a person created by heaven, perfect to the extreme. Such a fairy-like figure is willing to search hard for that person to have children. It seems that that one is a more difficult master to mess with. Mo Sangyu picked up her daughter and said, Don't worry, Mengmeng. You will be able to see your father when your mother's fortune is calculated. In Qingyan Prefecture, human race and demon race coexist. The leader of the demon clan forces is Yunmeng Gulan. The human race's forces are dominated by the 3 dynasties of Dian, Daqi, and Nanjiao. The 2 sides have lived in peace and harmony for many years, and the 2 sides have not interfered with each other. You 4, help me do something. Mo Sangyu decided to use the most primitive search method first. I will obey the Lord's command. You go to the human realm and help me find a person named Lin Chuan. As commanded, the 4 ferocious beast kings kept this name in their hearts. In their hearts, this is a god man. My lord, I have a problem. The golden-winged tiger king said bitterly. There are probably 8,000 people named Lin Chuan in the human tribe of Qingyan Prefecture. Do you have any other clues? Gone. Mo Sangyu shook his head. She was not even sure whether her husband's reincarnation was still called Lin Chuan in this life. Perhaps it had been given another name long ago. Finding something this way is out of necessity. Everyone is happy if they find it, but it's not a big deal if they can't find it. When she fully adapts to the rules of heaven and earth that integrate the 9-phase realm, she should be able to accurately lock her husband's reincarnation. Yes. The 4 ferocious beast kings did not dare to disobey, so they accepted the order and left. The Yan Dynasty. Yushui County. Lin Chuan, who completed the dream reincarnation, was delighted to learn the burning silence sword Ju. After asking the maid to cook a bowl of Shiquan Dabu decoction to replenish his health, he couldn't wait to start practicing the burning silence sword technique. The process was smoother than he imagined. In just half a quarter of an hour, he successfully introduced qi into his body and officially embarked on the path of cultivation. Am I really a genius? Lin Chuan was ecstatic. The sword technique created in the dream actually matched him in reality. According to the book, even the lowest monks can rival the most powerful warriors in Yushui County without being approached. In other words, now I have the capital to compete with Uncle Zhao Si. Zhao Si is the most powerful martial artist in Lin's trading company. He serves as the guard captain and his martial arts skills rank among the best in Yushui County. Uncle Si's 20 years of hard work can rival him in just half a quarter of an hour of introducing qi into the body. Lin Chuan was still unsure. Only when Uncle Zhao Si came back and competed with him did he know his true strength. In addition, we must find out the spiritual realm of this world as soon as possible. Master. It's not good, Master. Just as Lin Chuan was practicing vigorously, the maid Lu Ya's anxious voice came from outside the courtyard. She stumbled in regardless of etiquette. What's the matter, Lu Ya? Lin Chuan asked. Lu Ya's face was pale and out of breath. Young Master, something serious has happened. Miss asked you to come over immediately. Leader Zhao is dead, and his body has just been brought back by the people from the Yamen. What? Lin Chuan was shocked. Uncle Si is dead. Just die like that. He just wanted to spar with Uncle Zhao Si, and the other party died. Thinking of the demon thing Uncle Si discussed with his sister a few days ago, could it be the demon? Is it the Lin family's turn? Come on, take me there. Lin Chuan did not dare to neglect and rushed out of the door. Not long after, he arrived at the Yamen gate of Yushui County. Zhao Si's body was placed on the street outside the Yamen. His death condition was extremely miserable, his body was withered and there was no energy or blood left. There were 7 or 8 people who died in the same condition as Zhao Si, all of whom were expert bodyguards of Lin's trading company. Lin Yang stood in front of the crowd, looking sad. Sister, what happened? Lin Chuan could not help but feel disappointed. From the day he was born, Uncle Si had been the Lin family's guard, serving the Lin family through life and death. His parents died young, and Uncle Si was the closest person to him besides his sister. It's definitely a monster causing trouble. Lin Yang sighed. The Yamen police have conducted an autopsy. Uncle Si did not have any external injuries on his body, and there were no signs of a fight at the scene of the incident. Except for the evil spirits, no one in the entire Yushui County can let Uncle Si die without the ability to resist. After traveling around for many years, Lin Yang saw many strange people and strange things. When he mentioned monsters, he felt powerless. That is simply not something that mortals can contend with. Why does this demon want to attack the trading company? Lin Chuan asked. Demons have many different habits. They are different from humans. Most demons are not bound by moral rules. Demons act more according to their nature. Some monsters are murderous, some like to eat children, some are kind-hearted and like to help others, and of course there are also monsters who like treasure. Lin Yang obviously knew something about demons. Lin Chuan understood that it seemed that all the trading houses near Yushui County were targeted by money-loving monsters. Sister, please stop doing business in other counties for now. Lin Chuan had just come into contact with cultivation, and he did not dare to say anything about revenge for Zhao Si. It would not be too late to take revenge after his cultivation reached a certain level. I'm afraid it can't stop. Lin Yang shook his head. Lin Chuan was puzzled. Why? Lin Yang smiled bitterly. Chuaner, when you are in the world, you can't help yourself. When you stand in a certain position, some things can't be controlled by you. People from the county government want Lin's trading company to be used as bait. Lin Chuan was not stupid, he guessed it right away. Good. Lin Yang nodded. Lin's trading firm can establish itself and take over many big businesses in Yushui County, and it is indispensable for the support of the government. We have enjoyed so many benefits, and we should also bear corresponding responsibilities. But you don't have to worry too much. With the demon slayer here, nothing serious will happen. The last sentence is more of a comfort. Even if the demon slayer can kill the demon in the end, it will be difficult for Lin Yangyang, as the bait, to end well when facing the demon. I see. Lin Chuan knew his sister's temperament, but it was useless to persuade her. What's more, they don't have the qualifications to fight against the government now, unless they use the power of reincarnation in dreams. After asking his sister about the specific time of action, Lin Chuan returned to Lin Mansion. The appearance of the demon and the tragic death of Uncle Si gave Lin Chuan a new goal. He longed to become stronger and did not want to be as powerless as he is today. I need to get more strength from dream reincarnation. I don't want to be invincible, but at least I want to protect the safety of my loved ones. From the dream of perfect female demon lord, he obtained 100,000 points. Enough for him to buy new entries to start a new dream cycle. Ordinary dream reincarnation shouldn't be qualified to reflect rewards into reality. It must be at least a low-level fantasy level. Perfect female demon lord was the first fantasy dream that Lin Chuan experienced. I spent more than 100,000 points purchasing entries one after another, and almost trapped myself in a dream cycle and couldn't get out. He didn't want to go through it again, and some terms had to be used with caution. Virtual panel presentation. Lin Chuan began to purchase new entries. The first was low-level fantasy world, which was a required entry and cost 50,000 points. The second is the creation of supporting roles. After suffering too much from the perfect demon lord last time, Lin Chuan learned a lesson this time and bought an entry for Green Plum. The additional entries are Secret Love, Never Leave, Genius Girl, and it mainly focuses on a cool article template. Then he created a second supporting character. Perfect female demon lord. In the dream, fighting alone was too tiring, so I had to find a best friend to help me this time. The additional entry is Friends of Life and Death. Lin Chuan's entry for himself was Children of Aristocratic Families. At this point, all 100,000 points have been spent. Other elements will be randomly generated in dreams. Lin Chuan lay on the bed and soon fell asleep, entering another world in confusion. Dream reincarnation starts. In the 10th year of the Chang'an calendar, you were born. Your father Lin Wuji was the famous Zhenin king of the Great Liang dynasty, and your mother Bai Susu was the only female sword goddess in the world. As the only son of Zhenin Palace, you are much loved. You have a childhood sweetheart. She is the daughter of the first counselor of your Zhenin army. The world says that you two are a match made in heaven. You are the crown prince of Zhenin, and she has long been designated as the crown princess. When you were young, you didn't want to get married young, and you had no interest in leading the army in battle. You just wanted to be a wandering man. In the 20th year of the Chang'an calendar, your mother Bai Susu died. The death of the number one female sword god in the world shocked the world. Everyone knows that the current emperor was afraid of King Zhenin and designed to kill your mother. You cried and asked your father, King Zhenin, to send troops to the northern expedition, and asked him to use 300,000 cavalry from southern Xinjiang to flatten the palace of the Dog Emperor to avenge your mother. The war is turbulent, and it is the people who suffer. If there are foreign enemies around, the king of Zhenin is unwilling to rebel. You cry and say, I want to learn martial arts, and I want to personally avenge my mother. That day, your little childhood sweetheart saw you crying and felt very distressed. From then on, she began to study hard on strategies. All the skills of hundreds of schools of thought can be learned by your little childhood sweetheart. But your martial arts qualifications are mediocre. Fortunately, the Zhenin king is so powerful that masters from all walks of life can help you one after another and transform you into a new person. In the 28th year of the Chang'an calendar, you have grown up and decided to imitate your mother when you were young and travel around the world for 3 years. On the day you leave, Xiao Qingmei will see you off personally. She said, when you come back, I will give you the best gift. You say, thank you. Looking at the red-eyed Xiao Qingmei, you feel distressed for the first time as you are so unruly. While traveling around the world, you have experienced many things that you have never experienced before, and you have seen another world under the sun. You saw the suffering of the people, the displaced refugees, the veterans who lost their legs and feet in the war, and the wives, children and widows who had no one to take care of them. At a certain moment, you understood your father. He is not only your father, but also a husband, and a king respected by countless people. Understanding is understanding, but your desire to avenge your mother has never weakened. You secretly swear in your heart that sooner or later you will kill that dog emperor. That day, you met a young man by the lake who was also cursing the dog emperor. He was a blind man and carried a wooden sword on his back. A blind man practices swordsmanship. How dare you scold the emperor? You thought it was interesting and blurted it out. Not polite, not knowledgeable. The blind young man stands proudly, dismissive of your words. You were not angry because of the blind man's words, because he was the first person you met who dared to scold the emperor. You feel like you have a good rapport with him. How about we have a competition? The blind man proposed to compete with you, but he said, you can insult me, but you are not allowed to insult my sword. You smiled. Even though your martial arts qualifications are mediocre, you have been enlightened by masters of martial arts from all walks of life, and you have the power of the three teachings, which is by no means comparable to ordinary people. Come, you still agreed to the blind man's request. You guys had a competition. The blind man lost, he lost miserably. Because he doesn't understand swordsmanship at all and can only draw his sword and slash with one move. How about I teach you awesome swordsmanship? But you still admire the blind man. In your eyes, life experience, wealth, and martial arts power are not important. Daring to scold the emperor is your true temperament. It's all bells and whistles, but you don't learn. The blind man rejected you. He said, my drawing sword is the most powerful. To kill someone and conquer the enemy, I only need one sword. Hopeless. You think it's funny and prepare to leave. Etc. The blind man stopped you and said again, you can insult me, but you are not allowed to insult my sword. If you are able, go and kill the dog emperor with one sword. You scoff. You had an argument. He said he wanted to prove himself. In the end, you decided to travel around the world together. You were not opposed to becoming friends with this person who dared to call the dog emperor. While traveling, you will look at women's long legs together, steal sweet potatoes together, and fight bandits together. Your personalities are very compatible with each other. You and the blind man have become close friends. While passing by the county town, the blind man said, we have robbed so much money, how about we go to the best restaurant in the county town and have a big meal? Okay, actually, you are not interested in restaurant food. After all, it is your home cooking in the palace. You prefer the atmosphere of the world. When you come to the county town, you see a bunch of people bullying a woman. The blind man was used to being a chivalrous man, so he couldn't stand this kind of thing, so he came to help, but was beaten up. You took action to save them. After rescuing the woman and beating the group away, you and the blind man went to the largest restaurant in the county for dinner. The delicious food is on the table, you can feast and have a full meal. When you go downstairs, there is a man blocking your way. Judging from his clothes, he is a kid from a rich family, but the blind man cannot see it. Seeing you all dressed in a poor manner, the rich kid showed a joking smile on his face. The boy from the rich family said, two young heroes, I just saw two people speaking out for justice outside the restaurant. I admire them in my heart and want to make friends with them. The blind man waved his hands, it's all trivial matters. You said nothing and pretended not to understand. The boy from the rich family said again, two young heroes, I heard that those people are the servants of the county governor. You should be careful. The blind man sneered, Sao Bei, the governor of Jiangnan County. A kid from a rich family asked, young hero, are you not afraid? Why should you be afraid? The blind man once again put on his proud posture, the most disgusting dog official under the dog emperor is this Sao Bei. The rich boy was stunned for a moment, and the joking smile on his face became even heavier. Then what do you think of Cao Shaochuan, the son of Jiangnan County governor? Sao Bei is a disgusting dog official, and Cao Shaochuan is even more of a beast among beasts. The blind man cursed loudly. While observing silently, you discovered the identity of the rich boy in front of you. He was Cao Shaochuan, the son of Jiangnan County Sheriff, the beast among beasts that the blind man called him. You sigh in your heart, it is really a miracle that the blind man can survive to this day. That night, after you left the county town, you were hunted down. You took action again, killed the assassin, and told the blind man the truth about what happened during the day. I do not regret. The blind man said, if I had to do it again, I would still do it. You have never seen a more stubborn person than a blind man. No wonder he dares to scold the emperor. In the 31st year of the Chang'an calendar, you ended your 3-year travels in the rivers and lakes. You said goodbye to the blind man and left. The blind man said, I know I can't compare to you now. Thank you for protecting me along the way. I owe you a life. You joked. It's not one life, it's many lives. The blind man looked extremely serious and replied, that's a lot. If you can't finish it in this life, I will definitely give it back to you in the next life. Next life. Lin Chuan subconsciously didn't care about this at all. When this dream cycle ends, everything will naturally disappear. You laugh it off and say, we'll talk about it in the next life. When you returned to southern Xinjiang, your little green plum came to greet you in person. In 3 years, she has become one of the best counselors of the Zhenin army and the only female counselor of the Zhenin army. You think of your mother. Back then, your mother Bai Susu was known as the best female swordswoman in the world, and she assisted your father to become the famous Zhenin king of Great Liang. Xiao Qingmei's path may seem different from that of your mother, but they have something in common. After 3 years, you saw your father again. He was much older. It was obvious that only 3 years had passed, but his black hair was already gray. You have been free for 3 years, but you don't know what your father has been through during these 3 years. Lin Wuji said, Chuaner, being a father is useless. You have to avenge your mother's revenge by yourself. You can't believe it, a powerful figure in the government and the public, a hero of a generation who has made unparalleled achievements, an iron-blooded man too who is feared by everyone, would actually say such a thing. Lin Wuji has found a new master for you. The new master's name is Li Chungying. He was once the best swordsman in the world, the creator of 22 swords, and his swordsmanship was superb. You learned a lot from the old sword god Li Chungying. Your martial arts cultivation has successfully reached the Grand Master level. In the 33rd year of the Chang'an calendar, your father Lin Wuji passed away. The famous King Zhenin died of illness, and the news spread throughout the world. Southern Xinjiang was in turmoil, and the world was also in chaos. As the crown prince, you have become the new king of Zhenin according to the hereditary substitution mechanism. There are many people in the old army of King Zhenin who disapprove of you. 7 days later, the little green plum, phoenix crown, and Shape will come to you. She said, Akwan, it's time for a princess in southern Xinjiang. Will you marry me? You nodded heavily. Okay. Little Qingmei's name is Yun Ziyi. The evening breeze knows the meaning of the clouds, so how can you not know the heart of a beautiful woman? She said, it's cold, so I knitted a dress with my own hands and put it on for you. After that, she took out a yellow robe and put it on you while you were looking at you at a loss. The clothes fit you very well. They were tailor-made for you by Princess Yunji. The 5-clawed golden dragon embroidered above is even more lifelike. Lin Chuan woke up as he wore a yellow robe. In this dream, more than 20 years have passed. Time in the dream skipped by, and many details were blurred and difficult to recall. The supporting characters in this dream gave him a good feeling. It's 100 times more enjoyable than being tortured crazily by the demon lord. Especially Yun Zi won Lin Chuan's heart. In contrast, Lin Chuan in the dream was not so ambitious. If it were not for the subconscious influence, he might not have married Princess Yun Zi. Ding. The host has experienced an incomplete dream reincarnation and gained 1000 points this time. Prince Zhonghu, the dream is not over yet, and the rewards that Lin Chuan can obtain are limited. Walking out of the room, I saw the maid Luya pacing back and forth in the courtyard. Master, you have finally come out and scared me to death. What's wrong? Lin Chuan was startled. Master, you haven't left your room for 3 days, and your slaves are not allowed to call you, and you haven't asked your slaves to bring you food. Aren't you scary? Luya said aggrievedly. 3 days. I slept for 3 days. Lin Chuan was surprised. In the past, he would wake up automatically after sleeping for more than 10 hours at most, and he would never sleep continuously day and night. Is it because of cultivation? The most important thing that happened to him recently was that the reincarnation of dreams reflected reality, which allowed him to obtain the burning silence sword art created in his dream and embark on the path of cultivation. Lin Chuan had heard the legend about a monk who had a dream for hundreds of years. Taking this as a comparison, it is not surprising that I slept for 3 days in a row. I'm fine. Go to the kitchen and get me some food. Yes, master. Seeing that Lin Chuan's face was rosy and he was fine, Luya no longer worried and hurriedly went to the kitchen and asked the cooks to make a big meal for the young master. After dinner, Lin Chuan began to practice the burning silence sword technique again. After 3 days of not practicing, I am not a bit rusty. As long as you hold the sword and use the sword skills, you will feel as relaxed as a fish in water, and your cultivation will gradually increase. There is even a strange pleasure of hanging up to practice and going online to collect food. I have to get a book about the realm of cultivation as soon as possible. If there really was a demon causing trouble, Lin Chuan should at least know the difference between himself and the demon, otherwise he would not know how he died. In 4 days, my sister will take the caravan on a trip, so we have to hurry up. If you want to get in touch with spiritual scriptures, formal channels are completely unavailable. You can only go through sideways, such as going to the black market to find sellers. As a merchant, Lin Chuan naturally knew nothing about the business world. Many governments strictly control monopolies, or prohibit items that can only be purchased on the black market. The black market is also called the ghost market. Most people have never even heard of ghost markets, let alone have access to them. Lin's trading company is the largest trading firm in Yushui County and has a lot of information. Lin Chuan can find it as long as he is willing to look for the ghost market. He remembered a person and asked for his name. Lin Chuan often heard his sister mention this person. Bao was very well informed, and all the company's external intelligence was provided by Bao. Thinking of this, Lin Chuan put down his practice of sword techniques and left the Lin mansion. In a dilapidated alley, he found the bag and asked about it. This man is short in stature, only as tall as a 7 or 8-year-old child. Master Lin. Bao was very surprised to see Lin Chuan. Lin's trading company is a household name in Yushui County, and its shopkeeper Lin Yangyang is even more famous and is known as a hero among women. In comparison, Lin Chuan, the nominal young master, is unremarkable. Eat and sleep every day, and eat after sleeping. In the eyes of most people, he is just a second-generation ancestor who sits on the mountain and eats nothing. Bao asked, I want to ask you something. Master Lin, please tell me. Do you know where the ghost market is? No. Tell me. Lin Chuan took out a money bag and threw it to Bao for questioning. Bao Wenwen took the money bag, weighed it in his hands, and said with a bright smile, Master Lin is rich, and the location of the ghost market changes every day. I can only get 1 quota to enter the ghost market every day. The places for today and tomorrow have been reserved. If Master Lin wants to enter the ghost market, he has to come early the day after tomorrow. My young master can't wait that long. Lin Chuan threw out another money bag. In 4 days, my sister will lead a caravan on a trip. It would be too hasty to go to the ghost market the day after tomorrow, so we must prepare in advance. Bao Wenwen looked embarrassed. A ghost market has its own rules. Master Lin snapped. Another money bag was thrown out. Lin Chuan teased, money can make ghosts go around. The ghost market was originally created to make money. How can there be any reason to turn away customers? Master Lin, wait a moment, come back as soon as you go. Bao Wenqing took the money and handled the matter quickly. An hour later, Bao Wenzin hurried back with a wooden sign with a ghost face engraved on it, and the route to the ghost market attached to it. Master Lin, you can enter the ghost market in Yushui County according to the above guidelines. The ghost market is a mixed bag of good and bad, and it's hard to tell what's real and what's fake. You have to be careful when you go there. It's best to wear a mask, so you don't get ripped off. Bao asked and gave a few reminders. Thank you. Lin Chuan left with the wooden sign. Following the directions on the wooden sign, he detoured around many dilapidated roads, and there was a section in the middle that was filled with smoke, like an illusion. After walking for 2 hours, he arrived at the ghost market in Yushui County. The overall tone of the ghost market is extremely dark, and most people wear masks. Most of the people without masks look sinister. This place doesn't look like a business place, more like a bandit's den. Lin Chuan had heard some legends about the ghost market. There were many nobles and high-ranking officials who came here to buy. This was also the reason why the ghost market was able to survive. Some things that cannot be put on the surface, noble officials need more than ordinary people. Lin Chuan didn't think much and went straight to the goal. After wandering around, he found 2 broken copies of Cultivation Classics in the ghost market. The price was ridiculously high, costing 3,000 taels of silver. This shows how precious real spiritual practice books are. All are monopolized by the upper class and are completely out of reach of ordinary people. Lin Chuan did not buy any training classics. Not to mention whether the classics were true or false. Even if they were true, they could not compare to the Burning Silence Sword Ju. If converted into money, 2 pages of Burning Silence Sword Ju can be sold for 10,000 taels of gold. Then he searched some more, and when the ghost market was about to close, Lin Chuan finally found a book called Detailed Explanation of the Realm of Cultivation. After spending 1,000 taels of silver, he successfully bought it. When I returned to Lin Mansion, it was already very late. On the big tree outside Lin's mansion, 2 black crows stood on the treetops, watching Lin Chuan enter the bedroom. Another Lin Chuan, take note. He seems to have the aura of a cultivator. Could he be the person the Lord is looking for? 2 crows spoke human words and talked to each other. You are stupid, Da Ya. Someone with the aura of a cultivator cannot be the person the Lord is looking for. Why? The Golden-Winged Tiger King has already said that Lin Chuan is the husband of the Lord and will not be weaker than the Lord. If he deliberately hides it, can we little minions feel the aura of cultivation? As expected of the second crow, he is truly wise. But you still have to guard it, don't make any mistakes. The task of protecting Lin Chuan will be left to you, Da Ya. In the Lin Mansion's bedroom, Lin Chuan, who had obtained the spiritual scriptures, couldn't wait to open them. Reading the text is like the door to a new world slowly opening in front of you. Before this, Lin Chuan knew nothing about things outside the Yan dynasty and had never taken the initiative to pay attention. Only now can I get a glimpse of it. The place where he is now is called Qingyan State, one of the countless states in this world. In Qingyan Prefecture, the human race and the demon race coexist, and the water in the well does not interfere with the water in the river. The existence of demons is clearly recorded in the books, and the strongest demon force in Qingyan Prefecture is named Yunmang Ancient Forest. The strongest forces in the human race are the 3 dynasties. The Dian dynasty where Lin Chuan is located belongs to one of them. The other 2 dynasties are Daqi and Nanjiao. It seems that there are not a few practitioners. It's just that before, I sat in a well and looked at the sky, and I had never had any contact with practitioners. As a time traveler, Lin Chuan has a strong ability to accept things, not to mention that he has already dealt with monsters and practitioners in dreams. The book also says that there are 4 ferocious beast kings in Yunmang Ancient Forest. The Golden-Winged Tiger King, the Red Ape King, the 3-Headed Snake King, and the Black Flame Sparrow King. Anyone who can be called the Demon King is extremely powerful. How terrible, Lin Chuan sighed. There is some expectation in my heart, hoping that one day I can be on par with the 4 Demon Kings, or even surpass them. Understand the general worldview. Lin Chuan began to study the spiritual realms in books again. There were 8 in total, namely, Nourishing Qi Realm, Opening Pulse Realm, Soaring into the Sky Realm, Reborn Realm, Divine Soul Realm, Tianhe Realm, Saint Realm, and Supreme Realm. Above the Supreme is the Realm of Legend, which is vaguely mentioned in books but not mentioned. Lin Chuan read it carefully and compared it with himself. According to the book, as long as you successfully introduce Qi into the body, you have reached the threshold of the Qi nourishing realm, and then nourish the Qi in the body so that it can be integrated into the whole body. When the body is completely adapted to the spiritual energy, 12 spiritual veins can be opened in the body for practice. That is the pulse opening state. After practicing the Burning Silence sword technique, Lin Chuan did not feel any discomfort and felt like a fish in water. This proves that he can soon cross the realm of nourishing Qi and step into the realm of opening pulses. It's not good enough in front of the monster. Lin Chuan helped his forehead. Monsters are born with strong bodies. Most monsters are born into high realms, and their bloodline physical advantages are beyond the comparison of ordinary humans. According to the book, the 4 ferocious beast kings in Yunmang Ancient Forest are all at the pinnacle of the Saint Realm. Only the Supreme can subdue it. Don't be discouraged. Lin Chuan cheered himself up. With the system in place, I am the biggest loser. One day, I can also attack the Supreme Being, and even suppress the Supreme Being beneath me. Closing the book, Lin Chuan abandoned his distracting thoughts and prepared to enter the dream world again. Presumably the end of the dream reincarnation of Prince Zhonghu should bring good rewards. Lu Ya, wake me up early in the morning 4 days later, remember. After giving some instructions to the maid, Lin Chuan lay on the bed and fell asleep as sleepiness came over him. Akwan, this is the gift I want to give you, do you like it? The person who is more unafraid of the Emperor of Great Liang than your best friend the blind man is your Princess Yun Zi. Not only is she not afraid of the Great Liang Emperor, she will also help you rebel. Uncle Lin is both loyal and righteous. He cares about the people. He doesn't want the people to suffer from the war, doesn't want the dynasty to be in turmoil, and doesn't want to fight against his former comrades. When Uncle Lin was alive, I respected him. He only learned tactics and never spoke much. Uncle Lin is gone, so I no longer have any worries. Aunt Sus' revenge must be avenged. The 300,000 cavalrymen in southern Xinjiang should not be the tools of the Great Liang dynasty to defend the country. The resentment of being assassinated since childhood must be returned together. Everything Akwan wants, he must get. Even if the blood stains the rivers and mountains red, and the dead bones pile up to form a hell. So what? I don't care what the world is like, I just want you to be happy, Ah Chuan. Princess Yun Zi looked into your eyes. Her eyes were so firm, and she told you her inner words word for word. From the shy little Qingmei to the god of counselors who reach the sky. As if just overnight, you hold her in your arms. You said, is this a counselor's unique way of confessing? Yun Zi buried his head in your chest and whispered. Akwan said yes, that's it. That night, you got married. There is no need for anyone to witness. Companionship is the most loving farewell. You understand each other's feelings and respond enthusiastically to each other's love in the dead of night. The warm days did not last long. The great Zhou dynasty approaching southern Xinjiang invaded, and there were external and internal troubles. Southern Xinjiang, which had lost Lin Wuji's command, was in a precarious situation. The Daliang court did not send a single soldier to support. The purpose of the Emperor of Daliang is very obvious. He wants to make southern Xinjiang and the great Zhou dynasty fight to death and reap the benefits. Princess Yun Zi sat in the army and showed her terrifying planning ability to the world for the first time. The turbulent battlefield was swept away by her. She repelled Da Zhou and at the same time gave the court of Daliang a blow in the head, which shocked the world. The situation is at a stalemate. In the 35th year of the Chang'an calendar, it has been 2 years since your father Lin Wuji passed away. Southern Xinjiang has not weakened because of this, but has become stronger. All of this is due to Yun Zi's layout, which can be said to be a decisive victory thousands of miles away. In the same year, you heard news that shocked the world. After the old sword god Li Chungying, there is another sword god in the world, and he is a blind man. The blind sword god kills people only when he draws his sword. You don't know the blind man's name, and the blind man doesn't know your name. Could it be him? I think of your blind friend who traveled the world with you, the rookie swordsman who cursed the dog emperor every day and spoke out for justice. The following year, your martial arts cultivation will further improve. The new world martial arts rankings are released, and as the king of Zhenan, you are ranked 11th. With overwhelming power, good cultivation, and the princess as a great counselor, your life is perfect and will be envied by countless people in the world. In the 36th year of the Chang'an calendar, Princess Yun Zi became pregnant with your child. Yun Zi smiles very happily. You haven't seen such a smile on her face for a long time. She has shouldered more than you in these years. When you are 6 months pregnant, you go to the temple together to pray for the unborn child. You were assassinated on the way. The one who comes as the 3rd in the world, the 6th in the world, and the 9th in the world on the martial arts list. There are 2 people around you who are not weaker than the masters on the list. One is the old sword god Li Chungying, and the other is Lin Hedan, the personal guard left behind by your father Lin Wuji. A battle that can shock the world begins. That day, the old sword god Li Chungying entered the realm of heaven and man again. The 3rd best sword king in the world was defeated by the old sword god, and he swore a Taoist vow never to enter southern Xinjiang again. Prince's personal guard Lin Hedan took off the head of the 6th devil's guard in the world at the cost of losing one hand. You had a fierce battle with Tang Si, the 9th best spear god in the world, and almost lost. Fortunately, the old sword god Li Chungying rushed back in time and forced the gun god Tang Si away. Jia Jia Jia. Just when you thought the storm had calmed down, a man emerged from the shadows. The god of killers is absolutely unknown. Everyone at the scene screamed. They wanted to rescue, but it was too late. Zhu Wuming's target was Princess Yun Ziyi. Zhu Wuming is not a master on the martial arts list, but no one dares to underestimate his strength. He is not on the list because he has no martial ethics and his character is too poor. Zhu Wuming does not have the demeanor of a martial arts master. In order to assassinate, he will do anything to kill him. He is more cruel and bloodthirsty than a demonic person. Knowledge. You screamed heartbreakingly, subconsciously extending a sword forward, and your soul came out with the sword. You realized it and created a brand new sword move at that moment. This sword is based on the 22 swords taught to you by the old sword god. His name is Sword 23. This move is the sword of the soul, the body, mind, sword and soul become one. You killed the killer god Zhu Wuming with one move. Old sword god Li Chungying, bodyguard Lin Hedon, everyone present is shocked by you. Your vision gradually blurred, and you fainted. Your last gaze was fixed on the feet of Princess Yun Ziyi, where there was a pool of blood. The scene stopped abruptly, and Lin Chuan woke up from his sleep with a severe heartache. Ding! The host has experienced an incomplete dream reincarnation and gained 5,000 points this time. Returning to the real world, the violent mood swings gradually subsided. Lin Chuan clutched his chest, still feeling a little distressed. It was as if Yun Ziyi was really his princess, just like the demon lord Mo Sangyu in the previous dream. Pooh, why am I still thinking about having a wife? Although they are just wives in dreams, when the world ends, the story ends. Missing her too much is not a good thing. That's scumbag behavior. Will I, Lin Chuan, be a scumbag? Certainly not. Every dream only gives a girl a home. Anyway, it's just an illusory dream. Every girl in reincarnation is true love and the only one for each other, and it is impossible to meet in reality. Outside, it was already dark. Lin Chuan leaned on the bed and rested for a while, when there was a knock on the door outside. Master, Master, today is the 4th day, it's time to get up. The maid Luya shouted, her voice getting louder and louder. Heard it. Lin Chuan got up, changed his clothes, washed briefly, and went straight to the family business. The family caravan was about to set off. His sister Lin Yangyang was wearing a black outfit with a high ponytail. She looked very capable and heroic. Chuaner, why are you here? Lin Yangyang frowned and looked at Lin Chuan, and quickly understood his brother's intention. This trip is dangerous, please go back quickly. I don't. Lin Chuan shook his head, I want to go with you. When he was 3 years old, his parents died. His sister Lin Yangyang was only 12 years old at the time, and was forced to take over the business of Lin's trading company. She managed to keep the family business afloat and make further progress despite being surrounded by tigers and wolves. For a 12-year-old girl, those years were difficult. An eldest sister is like a mother. No matter how old Lin Chuan is, in Lin Yangyang's eyes, he is still the cute little brother who is ignorant of the world. Lin Chuan knew that his sister had worked hard to raise him, so he decided to follow her. Whoosh! Without waiting for his sister to refute, Lin Chuan got on the horse. Get down. Lin Yangyang raised his eyebrows. Do you know how dangerous this trip is? If something happens to us, what will happen to the family? Lin Chuan curled his lips. My parents are no longer here, and Uncle Si is also dead. What kind of family is it if we lose our sister again and have no relatives? You. Lin Yangyang was furious and didn't know how to refute for a moment. Yes, her younger brother has been taken care of by her since he was a child. He is naive and simple, and does not understand the world. What will his younger brother do if she is not around? Sister, let me go. Lin Chuan hugged Lin Yangyang's arm and turned on the coquettish mode. Move it with emotion and understand it with reason. Lin Yangyang couldn't resist, and reluctantly nodded in agreement. Okay, you come with me, but you must listen to me on the way. I will definitely treat my sister's orders as imperial edicts. Lin Chuan smiled and rode alongside Lin Yangyang. The caravan soon left Yushui County. No one noticed that there was a sleeping crow on the top of the carriage. Alas, I, a powerful person in the divine soul realm, have to protect a human kid in the chi-nourishing realm at all times. It's really humiliating. It seems that not only reincarnation is important, but getting a good name is also important. Daya is a subordinate of the Holy Realm Demon King Black Flame Sparrow King. His cultivation in the Divine Soul Realm is indeed considered a strong one in Qingyan Prefecture. The 8 realms of cultivation are the realm of nourishing qi, the realm of opening pulses, the realm of soaring into the sky, the realm of rebirth, the realm of spiritual soul, the realm of heavenly harmony, the realm of saints, and the realm of supreme beings. A person in the spirit realm can serve as the leader of the demon clan in the Yunmeng ancient forest. Caravans and carriages moved slowly. It's getting dark. Everyone in Lin's trading company looked solemn and became visibly nervous. Chuaner. Lin Yangyang suddenly looked at Lin Chuan. What's wrong, sister? If something unexpected happens later, you should run away as soon as possible. You will hinder my actions here, do you understand? Okay. Lin Chuan nodded. How could he not understand his sister's thoughts? Call it a drag, but actually I still can't worry about him. On the top of the carriage, Daya's eyes flickered. There is a demonic aura. What desperate demon dares to touch even the Lord's people? Your grandma. If you want to die, don't take me with you. The crow sniffed. No, it doesn't seem to be a demon from Yunmeng ancient forest. Your grandma. If you dare to violate the prohibition of Yunmeng ancient forest and provoke a war between the 2 clans, I'll see if I can kill you. Hoo ho ho. The wind became stronger and stronger, and the smoke and dust filled the air, obscuring the view of the caravan. Lin Yangyang and others all changed their expressions. Lin Chuan's heart was in his throat, ready to use the dream reincarnation reflection card at any time. It was difficult not to be nervous when facing a monster for the first time. Coming. Lin Yangyang held a spear and guarded Lin Chuan. The legs of the warhorse were shaking under her crotch, but Lin Yangyang's body did not waver at all. Behind her was her younger brother, and she had no way out. Dum dum dum. Just then, the cry of crows sounded in the howling wind. Lin Chuan only saw a group of black crows flying by. The wind then stopped. There is another body on the ground ahead. It's a monster. People from Lin's trading company did not dare to approach. Lin Chuan looked intently and saw clearly the outline of the monster. The monster had 4 limbs and its torso was like a square stone slab. The heads are all square, with human-like facial features. Dead. Lin Yangyang's eyes widened. Could it be that the government's demon slayer took action? As soon as he finished speaking, a swordsman came quickly from a distance. Died. The visitor had the same question as Lin Yangyang. He was the demon exterminator sent by the government. The 2 looked at each other and realized that things were not simple. The demon slayer looked around and finally fixed his gaze on Lin Chuan. Among the people present, apart from him, only Lin Chuan had the aura of a cultivator. Chapter 11. I'm Lin Yangyang, the shopkeeper of Lin's trading company. Are you the demon exterminator sent by the government? Lin Yangyang cupped his fists in greeting and spoke first. Exactly. The demon slayer stood proudly. I am Zhao Zhiming, the folk slayer of demons. Lin Yangyang asked tentatively, did you kill the demon just now? No. Demon exterminator Zhao Zhiming shook his head and kept staring at Lin Chuan. I'm afraid I have to ask your brother about this matter. Why are you asking me? Lin Chuan was confused. Zhao Zhiming smiled and said, of the people present, you and I are the only practitioners. If the demon is not killed by me, it will naturally be killed by you. Lin Yangyang was confused. What? Is my brother a practitioner? Lin Chuan, what's going on? A younger brother is a younger brother after all, and a sister is suppressed by blood. Lin Yangyang subconsciously started questioning mode. Well, regarding the practice, Lin Chuan did not intend to hide it for too long. He wanted to find a suitable time to tell it, but he did not expect to be exposed by the talkative demon slayer. Sister, I am indeed a practitioner, but I have just come into contact with the practice, and I definitely have no ability to kill monsters. Could it be possible for a demon to commit suicide? Zhao Zhiming frowned. Becoming a practitioner is a matter of honoring one's ancestors, but this Lin Chuan concealed it in every possible way and was unwilling to admit it. Could it be that there was something wrong in his heart? Could it be that he is a demonic monk? Zhao Zhiming pointed to the demon on the ground. This demon's name is Bean. He is the lowest demon on the spectrum of demons. He likes treasures by nature. This is why he is eyeing the nearby caravan. The strength of this being is equivalent to that of a human practitioner in the Kai Pulse realm. It is very weak, but if you want to kill it with one move, you must at least have the strength of the soaring sky realm. The first 3 realms of practice are nourishing the chi, opening the pulse, and soaring into the air. Only when the 12 cultivation spiritual veins in the body are fully opened can one be able to control the body freely and fly in the air. Walking in the air is the symbol of the soaring realm. Zhao Zhiming is a demon slayer in the soaring realm. That's all. Zhao Zhiming took a deep look at Lin Chuan and said, I will take Bai Yin's body back to the government. The government will decide how to handle the rest. After saying that, Zhao Zhiming left without looking back. Everyone's eyes on the field were focused on Lin Chuan, especially Lin Yangyang's eyes, which were like burning flames, burning Lin Chuan's skin. Other people in Lin's trading company were not only surprised, but also in awe. The young shopkeeper is actually a monk. This made them feel brighter and more confident. Only Lin Chuan was the first and the second. The demon who caused trouble was dead, but he himself fell into a bigger turmoil. If the bean demon was not killed by Zhao Zhiming, the government's demon exterminator, then who was it? What is the purpose of the people behind the scenes? Sure enough, when you embark on the path of spiritual practice, trouble will follow. The soldiers came to cover up the water and earth, and Lin Chuan could only take one step at a time. Chuaner, get in the sedan. Lin Yangyang abandoned his horse and entered the sedan chair, calling Lin Chuan to go in with him. Since his sister knew about the practice, Lin Chuan decided to confess directly. Apart from the shocking system, there was no need to hide the practice. Chuaner, when did you start practicing? Arriving in the sedan chair, Lin Yangyang got straight to the point. Less than 10 days. Why did you hide it from me? It's not that I deliberately concealed it from my sister, it's just that I don't have much exposure to spiritual practice and I dare not speak nonsense. Well, Chuaner. As he spoke, a red cloud suddenly appeared on Lin Yangyang's pretty face, and her style changed from a stern and motherly eldest sister to a shy girl. Several question marks slowly appeared on Lin Chuan's head. Sister, are you okay? It was the first time in many years that he saw his sister look like this. Chuaner, I know it's too much to say this, but my sister really wants it. She has wanted it since she was a child. Sister, what are you going to say? Lin Chuan was confused. Can you give that of yours to my sister? Lin Yangyang lowered his head. That, which one? Lin Chuan was confused. Is this the sister he knew? Could it be that she was possessed by a monster? It's the cultivation method. I want to practice too. Lin Yangyang's face turned red and he said it all. Ah, that's it. Lin Chuan couldn't laugh or cry. Even if my sister doesn't tell me, I will naturally teach you the method. After doing it for a long time, I thought it was something too much. Chuaner, do you agree? Lin Yangyang hugged Lin Chuan, excited. We are brothers and sisters, so it's nothing to just practice. Lin Chuan said quietly. Sister, in your eyes, am I such a stingy person? No. Lin Yangyang waved his hands repeatedly, looking embarrassed. I'm just a little bit worried. Dharma practice is so precious. Many fathers and sons turned against each other and brothers became enemies because of this. Lin Yangyang was really scared. I was afraid that I would not get the spiritual method, but also lose my closest brother, and end up with nothing. Lin Chuan suddenly discovered, my sister's previous sternness was all pretending, but she is still a girl at heart, and can be very cute sometimes. Just to support the family and protect Lin's business, he had to put on an indifferent face all day long. On the roof of the car, Daya murmured, human beings are really complex creatures. They are coy and not heroic at all. Listening to them makes me angry to death. It's boring and boring. The photographic stone recording this Linchuan should be brought back to Yunmeng Ancient Forest. I hope the Lord will make a decision as soon as possible. From the beginning to the end, it never believed that a mere human monk who had just embarked on the path of spiritual practice would be the husband the Lord was looking for. The caravan turned back in the night and returned to Yushui County. Lin Chuan taught his sister Lin Yangyang the cultivation techniques attached to the Burning Silence Sword Ju. I'm so talented, I guess my sister can't be too bad either. It would take an ordinary monk more than half a month to sense the spiritual energy, let alone introduce the spiritual energy into the body so that the body can adapt and allow the spiritual energy to circulate throughout the body. Generally speaking, this process takes more than 3 months. It has to be under the guidance of a master. Anyone who can complete these steps within half a month is considered a genius. But Lin Chuan didn't even use it for half a day. It's not too much to call him a peerless genius. He has a sister from the same mother, so naturally he won't be any worse. This is Lin Chuan's confidence. After teaching Lin Yangyang how to practice and making up a reasonable story, Lin Chuan returned to the bedroom and prepared to fall asleep. Yunmeng Ancient Forest. News about Lin Chuan was constantly spread to Mo Sangyu. Mo Sangyu never tired of this, browsing a lot of information with his daughter Xiao Rumong, but unfortunately no one was suitable. Another image stone was opened. Looking at the picture reflected by the photo stone, Mo Sangyu's heart skipped a beat. It's him. Is it Daddy? Xiao Rumong also widened her eyes. The young man in the photo stone is 70% similar to the one in his memory, a little less domineering and more youthful than the peerless sword god. Husband, it's husband. I finally found you. I will never miss you again in this life. Mo Sangyu picked up his daughter and said, let's go, Mengmong, let's go find Daddy. Xiao Rumong laughed happily, yeah. Go find Daddy. Lin's bedroom. Lin Chuan fell asleep peacefully. When you wake up again, you have returned to Zhenan Palace. The last dream reincarnation ended with Lin Chuan realizing Sword 23 and killing the killer god Zhu Wuming. He exhausted all his strength and fell into a coma, and Princess Yun Ziyi was injured. Ziyi, how is she? The first thing you do when you wake up is to care about Princess Yun Ziyi. The maids surrounding the bed have very ugly expressions. You have a bad feeling. Say, you yelled, and the maids were all frightened by you. Let me tell you, the princess is fine. It's just that the fetus in her belly is too weak and was injured by the nameless aura. I'm afraid she can't be saved. The maids revealed the truth. You stand up and rush to the room where Princess Yun Ziyi is recuperating. I'm sorry, Ah Chuan, the child was not saved. Yun Ziyi's eyes were filled with tears and she was crying bitterly. You hold her hand tightly. It's okay, as long as you're okay. This sentence comes from the heart. Whether it is Lin Chuan's subconscious mind or Lin Chuan in the dream cycle, they all feel that Yun Ziyi is far more important than the child. After half a month, you all recovered. After experiencing the assassination incident, you hate the great Liang royal family even more. In the days that followed, you devoted yourself to studying martial arts, and all military and political matters were handled in an orderly manner by Yun Ziyi. 300,000 cavalry from southern Xinjiang went northward and captured half of the territory of the Daliang royal family. The border of southern Xinjiang is also impenetrable, and any invading Zhou dynasty will be blocked from the border. Every martial artist in the world believes that you have entered the realm of heaven and humanity and are expected to become one of the top 3 masters on the martial arts list. Only you know that from that day on, you will no longer be able to use Sword 23, and your Kendo realm will not advance but retreat. Obviously you created the swordsmanship yourself, but you can no longer use it. You are very regretful. Killing Zhu Wuming seems to be the only highlight moment in your life. In the 39th year of the Chang'an calendar, in a battle between southern Xinjiang and the great Zhou dynasty, the old sword god Li Chungying died in order to protect you from leaving. At the same time, the news that your martial arts cultivation is not advancing but retreating has spread throughout the world. People say, the sword of Zhenan Wang Linchuan died that day, and he died together with the fetus in the arms of the princess of southern Xinjiang. In the 40th year of the Chang'an calendar, the blind swordsman became the second best in the world in martial arts. The blind sword god made a bold statement. In 1 month, I will challenge the world's #1 Jushanjin. Jushanjin is the #1 honorific title in the world today. Jushanjin proves the Tao with his fists. A pair of iron fists has shattered all kinds of weapons in the world. He is the undisputed #1 in the world. He alone controls a city, and neither the Zhou dynasty nor the Liang dynasty dare to touch I. A month later, you went to Jushan city to watch the battle. The battle between the new legendary blind sword god and the invincible Jushanjin attracted half the world's masters to watch. The blind sword god stands high in the sky. He said, I have a close friend who used to like to pretend to be a swordsman in front of me, but now he doesn't know how to sword. The world doesn't know who the blind sword god's best friend is. Only you know, keep it in mind. The blind sword god said, "My best friend's sword and heart are trapped together. I want to lend him a sword to make his sword heart clear, but it lacks some momentum. Of all the martial arts in the world, I think you are the most powerful, Zhu Shanjin. Easy to use." Zhu Shanjin sat at the top of the city, drinking wine, and said with a faint smile, "If you say such things, you will die." The blind sword god said, "Only my best friend knows that the blind man is never afraid of death." A shocking battle begins. The battle was fought in darkness, from Jushan City to the endless sea, tearing the sky apart, and even the heavenly gate loomed. No one knows the final result. When Zhu Shanjin returned to Jushan City, the blind man had disappeared. You saw a shocking sword mark on Zhu Shanjin's chest, exuding astonishing sword intent. You walked to the top of Jushan City and asked, "Is the blind man dead?" "It's useless, he only has one chance to use the sword in this life." Zhu Shanjin looked at you and sneered, "Your sword is not pure, it is far worse than a blind man. Why don't I, the king, also borrow the Master Zhu Xian's sword to practice?" Your voice ripples over Jushan City. At that moment, half of the masters in the world were looking at you. No one thought that you, who had lost most of your swordsmanship, would challenge Zhu Shanjin. You know very well that Zhu Shanjin is invincible in this world. Even if I kill you here, the 300,000 cavalry in southern Xinjiang will be helpless. Everyone in the world says you are crazy. But you know, your heart has never been as clear as it is now. You have realized that move again, Sword 23 called the Soul Sword. The key to Sword 23 lies in the state of mind, not the swordsmanship. Come. Zhu Shanjin sensed your change and drank a bottle of wine. The injuries on his body have fully recovered. You and Zhu Shanjin each made a move, no matter who wins or loses. Zhu Shanjin stands proudly on the top of the city. 3 years later, you and I will fight again. By then we will not only differentiate between superior and inferior, but also decide life and death. In that move, you were not as good as the Zhujianxian. It was the injuries caused by the blind man to the opponent that made you a draw. But in the eyes of the world, your martial arts cultivation has also reached the top 3 level in the world. In the 42nd year of the Chang'an calendar, the southern Xinjiang army broke through the capital of Daliang, and the remnant army of Daliang fled to the desperate land of western Shu. At this point, the great Liang dynasty existed in name only. Princess Yun Zi said, "Ah Chuan, let's create a new dynasty and re-establish the country's title." You said, "I'll kill that dog emperor later." Yun Zi knew your obsession and said quietly, "Okay. 43 years in the Chang'an calendar, it's time for you to make an appointment with the world's #1 wine immortal. On that day, the princess will personally clean your sword. You feel a different aura on the sword. It is the illusory destiny, the destiny of the country in southern Xinjiang, added to the sword." Yun Zi said, "Akwan, there's not much I can do. I can only help you use luck to break the invincible power of Zhu Shanjin, who has been invincible for a long time. She has never practiced martial arts, but she understands this for you all the time. If you have such a wife, what else can a husband ask for?" You hugged the princess, and the years had not diminished her appearance, but you saw the gray hair on her temples. Yun Zi has not practiced martial arts, and her cultivation of luck is as mysterious as it is mysterious. Today, she has given all her luck to you. No matter today's success or failure, it is not a good outcome for Yun Zi. The old dynasty is about to overthrow, martial arts is about to reach its peak, your unsmooth life is getting smoother little by little, and is gradually reaching its peak. The people who took you to the top are leaving you one by one. Do you think life should not end like this? Life should be changed. Mo Dao Sangyu is late, and the sky is still covered with clouds. Martial arts are prosperous, and you who have entered the realm of heaven and human beings can live for hundreds of more years. Princess Yun Zi loses the support of her luck and will soon grow old and eventually leave you. Now there is only one way for Yun Zi to continue to accompany you, and that is to let her ascend the position of empress and control the destiny of the new dynasty. Only with good luck can we protect her for 100 years. You didn't say what you were thinking, and carried the divine sword that gathered the luck of southern Xinjiang on your back, and climbed to the top of Jushan City. Linchuan, you have a good princess. Zhu Shanjin's eyes are blazing and he is full of fighting spirit. He sees the luck surrounding you and is not timid to fight. This is the invincible power that spans the world for a long time. You had a great battle. This is a shocking battle. Zhu Shanjin's fists will beat you to a bloody pulp, and all your energy will be lost. His invincibility will also be broken by the luck of southern Xinjiang. You say, "Here comes the sword." In an outside Jushan city, countless swords fly at your command. At this moment, you are the well-deserved sword god. Zhu Shanjin sarcastically said, "I told you that your sword is not pure." You said coldly, "Why should it be pure? Sharpness is enough." Your sword has never been pure, it carries too many things. It carries the hatred of Mother Bai Susu, the loyalty of Father Lin Wuji, the difficulties of the old sword god Li Chungying, and the love of the blind swordsman's best friend. It also carries the long-cherished wishes of countless soldiers in southern Xinjiang. The protection of Princess Yun Zi is also indispensable. How can such a sword be said to be pure? I hold a sword, never just because I like swords, but for those who don't let me hold a sword. Your soul seems to be sublimated at this moment. You slashed with a sword. It is still Sword 23, but it is different from the previous Sword 23. The name, 23 Swords of Love in Heaven and Earth. It is a sword move that needs to be interpreted with life. Zhu Shanjin was defeated by this sword. The moment he was defeated, the heavenly gate shook, and celestial light fell from the sky to the world. Zhu Shanjin could have broken through again and soared away, but he did not do so and instead sat on the top of the city. You defeated the number 1 in the world and became the new number 1 in the world. Akwan, you win. You are number 1 in the world. Yun Zi holds your arm and looks at Shengwei. She is still the girl who has admired you since she was a child. Her eyes are full of you. Night, the sky is full of moonlight. The bright white moonlight is so beautiful, you also hold your own white moonlight in your arms. Late at night, you discuss the mysteries of life. The next morning, you, the best in the world, supported the wall and walked out. At noon on the same day, you saw the blind man. The blind man does not have the demeanor of a sword god at all. He laughs at you. Ha ha ha, you are the best in the world, you are so weak. Lin Chuan is not truly invincible, there are still clouds in the world. Shut up, you beat the blind man violently. Don't force me to take action. The blind man cursed. Zhu Shanjin said that the blind man only has one chance to take action in this life. You put on a mean expression. Hey, you won't attack me, how can you attack your best friend? 45 years of the Chang'an calendar. The great Zhou dynasty once again invaded southern Xinjiang, and the remnants of the great Liang royal family also launched a desperate counterattack in southern Xinjiang. In recent years, during the southern and northern wars, more than half of the 300,000 cavalrymen in southern Xinjiang have been lost. In this battle, Great Zhou army god Examen Wushui personally led the team, and all the Great Zhou warriors came out. Southern Xinjiang suffered unprecedented heavy losses. Fortunately, Yun Zi used the power to defeat the White Dragon army led by Examen Wushui in the 3 border cities. After repelling the White Dragon army, the southern Xinjiang cavalry did not rest and went straight to the western Shu Jedi. You personally led the army to strictly guard the border. You and Yun Zi decided to resolve everything completely this time. Zhenan Wang Linchuan, your strength is exhausted. Examen Wushui, the military god of the great Zhou dynasty, holds a spear and his name is Yunlong. You learned from Examen Wushui the real reason why the Zhou dynasty provoked another war. The great master of the Zhou dynasty observes the sky at night, exhausts his own destiny to deduce, and observes the southern border. The hexagram shows that as the king of Zhenan, you are about to run out of energy. Your energy is indeed running out. This is not determined by heaven and earth, but your own choice. If southern Xinjiang wants to dominate the world, there are only 2 ways. Either Princess Yun Zi exhausts her life and sends you to ride the wind and transform into a dragon, or you exhaust your life and help Yun Zi become the empress. The luck in this world is limited, and the outcome is already doomed. You and Yun Zi, one of you must dedicate his own destiny to resolve the remaining fate of the great Liang royal family, and become a bridge for southern Xinjiang to unify the world. Both you and Yun Zi chose to fulfill each other. In Lin Chuan's subconscious, this was just a dream. Compared with life and death, he valued the vigorous emotional bonds in dream reincarnation. Yun Zi's love is pure beyond life and death. Lin Chuan in the dream reincarnation loved Yun Ziyi without hesitation, but subconsciously Lin Chuan did not care about life or death. Every time it was their turn, they would make the same choice. Lin Chuan, everyone in the world says that you are the best in the world. I think that is just an incompetent comment. All real masters know that you cannot win the Jushanjin by your own ability. Today I will kill you, the so-called number one in the world. The great Zhou military god Examen Wushui is riding a horse with a spear, and is coming towards you. On the tip of his spear is the energy of the 200,000 soldiers of the White Dragon Army. You greet me with your sword. Another battle begins. This battle between you and Examen Wushui is a battle of destiny in the world. In terms of momentum, it is more magnificent than the battle with Zhu Shanjin. You are on par with each other, fighting from 3 border cities to the depths of the endless sea, and fighting 3,000 miles in one breath. You used your famous sword move again, sword 23. Examen Wushui had already responded. With one shot, he absorbed half of the chivalrous spirit of Dajo Zhonghu, and he took down your strongest sword. In this battle, your opponent is not only the god of war, Examen Wushui, but also half of the Zhou dynasty. You fought in darkness, and the endless waves rolled on the sea. You and Examen Wushui have both reached the peak of the heavenly realm. In a peerless battle, you all fought until your energy was exhausted, but there was still no winner, but your physical body was even better. Under the yellow robe, the muscles are knotted. Your physical body's energy and blood are far from comparable to Examen Wushui. Just when you were about to kill the military god Examen Wushui, 3 people you didn't expect appeared. They come from the 3 religions of Confucianism, Buddhism and Taoism respectively. You called out their names in the coldest voice. Taoist Tianqing, monk Huishan, and layman Yi Lian, the 3 of you. Are you going to stop me? The scene was frozen at the moment when masters from the 3 religions arrived together, and Lin Chuan woke up. He quickly stood up and came outside. Lu Ya, how many days did I sleep this time? Master, you have slept for 5 days. These days, the news that Lin Chuan, the young head of Lin's trading company, is a monk has spread throughout the streets and alleys, and most of the people in Yushui County know about it. As the personal maid serving Lin Chuan, Luya naturally knew about it. My young master is actually a monk. Luya secretly rejoiced over this for a long time. From now on, she would be the monk's maid. How lucky she was. Monks are good, they sleep longer than ordinary people. Nothing happened in the house recently, right? The incident involving monsters had just ended, and the attitude of the demon exterminator Zhao Zhiming was unclear. Lin Chuan was worried that the government would put pressure on the Lin family. Of course something happened. Luya covered her mouth and smiled. Lin Chuan had a bad feeling. What's going on? Marriage matters. Luya said. After the news spread that you were a monk, many girls want to marry you, and the county magistrates all came with gifts. Ah, Lin Chuan was confused. He doesn't want to get married young. The wives in the dream were much better than reality, and he didn't want to marry an ordinary woman and face the separation of life and death decades later. Luya said, my lady has been entertaining people from all walks of life in the main hall these days. We are in business and we pay attention to connections. It's hard to refuse. I think it's very difficult for my lady to handle this. Oh, I'll go take a look. Lin Chuan sighed softly and went to the main hall. In the void, 2 eyes were watching Lin Chuan's every move. It's really my husband. Mo Sangyu held her daughter in hand with a worried look on her face. I'm afraid my husband's reincarnation no longer recognizes me. If I recognize me rashly, I will scare him again. Furthermore, she hopes that her husband will remember him. Instead of getting along with her husband's reincarnation in another identity, that is definitely not what she wants. Mother, let's go down and meet Daddy. Xiao Rumeng was very anxious. Hold on. Mo Sangyu wanted to wait for a suitable identity. If you wait any longer, Daddy will be snatched away. Mother, look at it. Xiao Rumeng pointed forward. At this time, Lin Chuan had already arrived at the main hall, and half of the prominent people in Yushui County had gathered at the Lin family, including many from the neighboring county. Every household brought a beautiful daughter, who came with 8 baskets of festive gifts. Seeing Lin Chuan arriving, all eyes were focused on him. Mr. Lin, you are finally here. Ha ha ha, Mr. Lin showed up. It seems he has taken a fancy to our daughter. You fart. Mr. Lin is obviously here for my Kwewa. The already lively lobby suddenly became excited. Lin Chuan held his forehead. It seemed that he still underestimated the influence of a monk. After the demon incident that night, he also learned some information. The Yan dynasty had a specialized organization for practitioners, which was directly under the imperial power. No local administration has power over practitioners. This is why practitioners have such a high status. However, this scene still made Lin Chuan feel that it was a bit exaggerated. This was the first time he had seen such a thing, like bringing a daughter to his house to propose marriage. Not only did they come to ask for marriage, but they also fought for her. He doesn't treat his daughter as a human being, but as a bargaining chip for power. Lin Yangyang glanced at Lin Chuan, indicating to the latter to solve the problem himself. Oh no, Daddy is really going to be snatched away. Xiao Rumong, who was watching this scene in the void, was almost dying of anxiety. This was his father, how could he let others snatch him away? Mo Sangyu frowned. She could accept Lin Chuan being weak and growing up slowly, but she didn't want her husband to marry again and have children. What is that? No matter what, let Mengmong go and disturb my husband's rotten love affairs first. Mo Sangyu made a decision. Even if the husband's memory has not been restored, he is still close to his daughter and may be able to help him remember his past life. Thinking of this, Mo Sangyu put his daughter down. Go to Mengmong and find Daddy. Good. The space rippled, and Lin Rumong walked out of the void, running happily towards Lin Chuan with bare feet. Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. The affectionate name and childish voice soon attracted the attention of everyone in the lobby, and their eyes focused outside the hall. Whose child is it? So beautiful. She's so cute and cute. Lin Rumong perfectly inherited Mo Sangyu's genes. She was born with red lips and white teeth, a rosy pink face, and a pure smile that made people's hearts melt. The girls present all smiled. No one cares why this cute little girl is here. Even the guards of Lin Mansion were indifferent. Under everyone's gaze, Xiao Rumong ran all the way into the lobby and hugged Lin Chuan's thigh in surprise. Daddy. Xiao Rumong raised her head and looked at her father, whom she had met for the first time, but she felt even more cordial. Lin Chuan was stunned when he heard the word, Daddy. What? I'm a father. What's going on? I'm still a virgin. Why did I become a father? Whose child is this? Even if you look very cute and make people want to hug you, you can't be so slanderous. Lin Yangyang was also confused. My little brother never leaves home, so when did he get married? And secretly gave birth to a child. Have you raised this much? Everyone who proposed the marriage was stunned. Mr. Lin has a child. My daughter misses the opportunity to be a wife, so she should strive to be a second wife. Little girl, have you recognized the wrong person? Lin Chuan came back to his senses and looked at the little girl hugging his thigh. He felt a sense of familiarity, as if he had seen her before, but he didn't know where he had seen her before. I didn't admit it wrong, you are Mengmong's father. Xiao Rumong hugged Lin Chuan's thigh tightly, her little face pressed against it, and she never let go. The others tacitly chose to shut up and turned into a crowd. Lin Chuan's head is as big as an ox. Although I really want to have such a lovely daughter, I still don't want to become a father without knowing it. Lin Yangyang came over and picked up Xiao Rumong. Girl, what's your mother's name? My mother. Lin Rumong pouted, thinking about it, and then realized that she didn't even know her mother's name, so she replied blankly. I think I'll just call her mother. Lin Yangyang had a black line drawn on his forehead. It seems that this girl has blackmailed the Lin family. Who is the instigator behind this? Then what's your name? Lin Yangyang asked. Lin Rumong. Did you come alone? And mother? Where is your mother? Right there. Hey, where is my mother? Why is she missing? Xiao Rumong was stunned for a moment and said, my father must have wanted to marry someone else, which made my mother angry, so she hid. After saying that, she put her hands on her hips and pointed at the others angrily. You are all bad people. Go away. Don't compete with Mengmong and mother for your father. Upon seeing this, everyone knew that this was a troublesome matter, bowed to Lin Yangyang, said a few polite words, and left. Not long after, only the Lin family siblings and Xiao Rumong were left in the huge lobby. Lin Yangyang held the little girl and looked at it again and again, and compared it with Lin Chuan. Don't tell me, this girl does look a bit like you. Chuaner, tell your sister honestly, have you ever had any romantic debts outside? Absolutely not. I'm not that kind of person. Lin Chuan wanted to cry but had no tears. Apart from having erotic dreams, he has never had any intimate contact with any woman in his life. Is it possible to be a living father even if you have an erotic dream? What do you think we should do now? Lin Yangyang said helplessly. This girl thinks you are a father and it is troublesome to find her mother. Why don't you keep it first? Lin Chuan said something strangely. He didn't know why, but he felt that this little girl was kind and couldn't help but want to hug her. Tisk, aren't you afraid of your reputation being ruined? Lin Yangyang looked at his brother meaningfully. She seriously suspected that this girl was Chuaner's daughter, but Chuaner was embarrassed to admit it. Anyway, as a sister, there is no need for her to expose it. It's tacitly understood. Lin Chuan didn't care. What's the use of reputation? I'm not in a hurry to get married, so I just use the little girl as a shield. As long as you agree. Lin Yangyang is not a pedantic person, and she also likes this little girl very much. This is the first time she has seen such a cute girl. So be it. Lin Chuan picked up Xiao Rumong, who kissed him twice on the face. Dad, Mengmeng misses you so much. Quote. Lin Chuan was hit hard by sweetness and didn't know how to reply. Judging from the little girl's dress, she is very exquisite, and the accessories on her body are also valuable. She should not be so poor that she would want to recognize her father. Forget it, why are you thinking so much? You can't eat much if you keep it. Lin Chuan always felt that there was a mysterious force helping him convince his heart. Xiao Rumong's next words made him stumble. Dad, when are we going to find mother? You boy, you start with 2 feet, it's all about finding your parents, right? When daddy recovers from his injury, he will take you to find mommy. Good. Xiao Rumong smiled, smacked Lin Chuan's face twice more, and leaned against Lin Chuan's body softly. Mengmeng is so good. Lin Chuan almost burst out laughing. Lin Yangyang's head was full of question marks. Dirty brother. Leave this outfit alone, right? You were in a dilemma a moment ago and you didn't know how to make a decision. In the blink of an eye, the drama of deep love between father and daughter started to unfold. She also said she was not her biological daughter. Hopeless. Lin Yangyang had a hunch that his younger brother would definitely be a daughter slave in the future. In the virtual space, Mo Sangyu looked at this scene and was very satisfied. Her husband's closeness to her daughter gave her hope that perhaps her husband's memory would soon be restored. Mo Sangyu didn't show up. She doesn't want her husband to be obsessed with her appearance. After all, her appearance is too lethal to a mortal. She hopes that her husband loves her deeply. Let my husband take my daughter with me first. When I fully adapt to the rules of heaven and earth in the 9 phases realm, I will definitely be able to cross the supreme realm. We will then find ways to help my husband awaken his memory. The deep love between father and daughter in the courtyard of Lin Mansion made Mo Sangyu finally let go of his hanging heart. With the restrictions she has placed on her daughter, she is absolutely safe in Qingyan Prefecture. Night. Lin Yangyang cooked himself and made a table of delicious dishes. It was not only Lin Chuan who took on the role, but Lin Yangyang was also determined to be a good aunt, and both of them felt very sorry for Xiao Rumong. Except for the matter of recognizing her father, the two of them treat this girl well behaved and cute no matter how they look at her. After dinner, another problem comes. Lin Chuan slept for several days, and it was obviously inappropriate for Xiao Rumong to sleep with him. But this girl just wants to sleep with him. Like an octopus, it clung to him, and it was useless for Lin Yangyang, the aunt, to speak. The two of them had no choice but to do as the girl wished. Entering the bedroom, Xiao Rumong became well behaved again, just holding Lin Chuan's arm, not noisy, very quiet. The two looked at each other. Dad, why aren't you sleeping yet? Are you thinking about your mother? Xiao Rumong's big watery eyes blinked and stared at Lin Chuan, never getting tired of it. Quote. I don't even know who your mother is, what do you think? This child has a strange brain circuit, but fortunately his good looks successfully cover up the child's other shortcomings. Lin Chuan considers himself a handsome young man. But he felt that he could not give birth to such a beautiful daughter, and he would never get tired of watching it a million times. How beautiful must this child's mother be? With all kinds of questions in mind, Lin Chuan gradually fell into sleep. The scene turned and once again came to the dream cycle of Prince Zhonghu. Taoist Tianqing, monk Huishan, and layman Yi Lian, you three want to stop me. Masters from the three religions came together to save Examen Wushui, the military god of the great Zhou dynasty. Zhenin King benefactor, the great Zhou Qi is not exhausted, Examen Wushui's life should not be cut off, he cannot die. Once he dies, the world will be in chaos. Monk Huishan clasped his hands together, a golden light lit up on Examen Wushui's body, forming a big bell, blocking your attack. Isn't the world chaotic enough? So what if Examen Wushui dies? You looked at the three of them coldly and asked loudly. Monk Huishan said, we have no intention of becoming enemies of southern Xinjiang. We saved Examen Wushui for the sake of the world. You shit, you yelled, I will kill anyone who dares to stop you. If you don't leave, I will destroy Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism for 500 years. Your words made the faces of the three masters of the three religions change greatly. They all know your temper and will definitely do what you say. Have you thought about it? You raise your sword high, aim it at Examen Wushui's heart, and stab down bit by bit. Boom. The golden bell still has not withdrawn, and the masters of the three religions have expressed their position. You talk about the chaos in the world, you are just afraid that southern Xinjiang will dominate the world and monopolize the destiny, so that your three religions will no longer be the masters of the martial arts. In this world, many dynasties have always stood side by side and hundreds of schools of thought contend. Only 2 dynasties were unified. One time, hundreds of schools of thought were deposed, and Confucianism was respected. The other time, Confucianism and Buddhism were eliminated, and Taoism went into seclusion. The unification of the dynasty and the unification of destiny is a situation that no one in the world wants to see. The road you and Yun Ziyi are going to take is destined to be full of thorns. Kill. Bu Yi is still struggling to breathe. As the king of Zhenin, how can you regress? Even if you die, you must unify the fate of the world. This is your gift to Princess Yun Ziyi. You forcibly instilled southern Xinjiang's luck into your body, opened the gate of heaven with one sword, and the power beyond the realm of heaven and man continued to flow into your body. After this battle, you will only have 2 endings. Either ascend, or die. King Zhenin, why are you so stubborn? Taoist Tianqing, monk Huishan, and layman Yi Lian sighed softly, and the 3 of them took action together to stop your killing sword. People from the 3 religions will not be included in the martial arts rankings in the world. Everyone knows that the top masters of Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism are no weaker than the top 10 in martial arts, and in some eras they can even beat them. But at this moment, you are invincible. Burning your life and gathering the luck of southern Xinjiang, you are truly the number 1 in the world tonight, unstoppable. Great Zhou military god, master of the 3 religions. Nothing more than that. You laugh frivolously. Dense qi gathered towards the sky, forming a huge divine sword, and the light illuminated the night sky. Countless people in Great Zhou or southern Xinjiang have seen this sword. He is like a punishment from heaven. Lin Chuan in the dream could not see the overall situation, but Lin Chuan's subconscious could know what was happening in the entire world. You can even sense the emotions of supporting characters in your dreams. In the western Shu Jedi, which was extremely far away from the southern border, Yun Ziyi, who had just beheaded the emperor of Great Liang, suddenly raised his head. This is Akwon's sword. Yun Ziyi burst into tears. She knew what this sword meant. It means that all her plans from childhood to adulthood have come to nothing, and everything is meaningless. The gift that Yun Ziyi wanted to give to Lin Chuan ended up being a gift from Lin Chuan to Yun Ziyi. Like the divine sword of heavenly punishment falling, even the top Taoist Tianqing of the 3 religions, monk Huishan, and layman Yi Lian could not resist it. They are struggling to support themselves. The earth-shattering sword intent pressed them down continuously, getting closer and closer to the unconscious Examen Wushui. Above the land of the great Zhou dynasty, dark clouds pressed down on the city, and there was lightning and thunder. This sword will not only kill Examen Wushui, but also the fate of the great Zhou dynasty. Seeing the divine sword fall, boom, there was a loud noise from the sky, the night turned into day in an instant, and a door shrouded in fairy mist slowly opened. Dozens of rays of light fall. A mortal from heaven, has he come to earth? You look at this scene, your heart sinks to the bottom of your heart. There are rules in the world. Immortals in heaven cannot directly interfere with matters in the world. Immortals coming to earth will be restricted by the rules of heaven and earth. Even so, I am still desperate for you now. The immortal in heaven, why do you disturb the affairs of the human world? A cold voice exploded in the sky, and a man with a sword and black satin eyes walked step by step from the south. It is your best friend, the crippled blind swordsman. Immortals have no entity, they are attached to the bodies of human beings, their faces are twisted and ferocious, they look less like immortals and more like ghosts. Lin Chuan, it's time for you to ascend. You can no longer participate in human affairs. The immortals did not pay attention to the blind man. They have only one goal, which is to let you ascend and cut off the world. You did not answer their words. The only response to them was the increasingly turbulent sword intent. What about the immortals? There are so many who are the best in the world, and there are many who dare to challenge the immortals. The immortals who came to the land cannot be regarded as true immortals. Lin Chuan, I advise you to return when you have lost your way. Kill Examen Wushui and cut off the luck of the great Zhou dynasty, and the gate of heaven will no longer be open for you. Ascension is your only way to survive. The immortals glare at you. Is it rare for me to be alive? I don't want to go to a fairy world like yours, so get out. You have despised the immortal. It was not only Lin Chuan in the dream who despised these immortals, but also Lin Chuan's subconscious. Such an immortal was far from the immortal he imagined. He is just a fake immortal who deceives the world and steals his reputation. The immortals were angry at your contempt, and they took action. Are all immortals so rude? The blind man cursed. After the battle in Jushan City, the blind man drew his sword again. The name of his move is called, drawing the sword blindly. In disarray, drawing swords indiscriminately. But even an immortal cannot deal with such a sword. Chuan, do what you want to do. The blind man stood in front of the immortals with one sword and one sword. This was the last time he drew his sword, the last dance of his life. Good. You nodded, and added something strangely, you still owe me a lot of life, remember to pay it back to me in the next life. You really owe it. The blind man spat at you and casually beheaded an immortal. When an immortal comes to earth and breaks the rules, he should be prepared to be killed. The world is really in chaos. The immortal sighed, you too don't want to ascend, so just be buried in this world and serve as a warning to future generations. It turns out that the immortal is so good at bragging, he can brag better than the clients in the brothel. The blind man said dirty words, just like he scolded the dog emperor. He has never respected the imperial power, let alone the gods. The immortals stopped talking and turned into two white waves to kill you and the blind man. I told you not to disturb my best friends. The blind man drew his sword again, and the expression of laughter disappeared from his face. With one strike of the sword, the sky and the earth turned into black and white. It's day in the immortal gate, but it's night in the world. Between black and white, there are rolling clouds, inlaid with an endless sword mark. The blind man raised his middle finger to you and teased, who is not the best in the world? You smiled. I hope you are stronger than me. The blind man smiled knowingly, it depends on whether the immortals can withstand the torture. You use vulgar words to insult the immortals wantonly, just like when you were traveling in the world, you commented on the young lady's big white legs. Another battle begins. The only person fighting alongside you this time is your close friend the blind man. And what you have to face is the fate of the whole world, as well as the immortals from the sky. Like the giant sword of heaven's punishment falling again, the masters of Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism were unable to stop you after all. 4 of them, including Examen Wushui, were killed by you on the endless beach. In the other world illuminated by the fairy light, the immortals are like rain falling. In the white mist, the immortal is wailing, dotted with a little scarlet, which is the blood of the blind man blooming. The world is extremely bright, but he cannot see this world. But the blind man's life and the blind man's sword are far more exciting than this world. The shocking battle is over. The immortal gates slowly closed. The 2 number ones in the world who were supposed to ascend tonight looked at the closed immortal gate and smiled at each other. Neither you nor the blind man care about the so-called ascension. It is enough to have such a close friend in life. The dividing line between black and white becomes blurred again, the billowing clouds merge into one, the night ends and the morning star lights up. The blind man dragged his ruined body to you who could not move. How's it going? Isn't my brother handsome? It's far worse than me. You're the only one who talks so hard. The blind man hits you on the head with a wooden sword. You guys were chatting away from each other. You asked, "Blind man, do you have any last wishes?" Have. The blind man nodded heavily. I want to marry a beautiful girl and have a fat boy, but unfortunately I am a blind man and a swordsman, so I cannot harm others. You were silent for a long time, and said faintly, "In the next life, come to me, and I will help you mediate." In the distance, there is a silhouette coming quickly. The blind man cursed and stood up. "Joe. I'm so envious. Your Princess Yunzi is here." She bursts into tears. No matter how free and easy you smile, she will cry as sadly as you do. Akwon. Princess Yunzi threw herself into your arms and cried like a child. It's okay, we won. You hold Yunzi in your arms and caress her cheek. Why? Yunzi looked at you and said in a daze, "I don't want those, I only want you, Akwon." You smiled and said, "I am always here and will always be with you." Your time is running out. The chi machine is exhausted and unable to soar. Your life path has come to an end. In the 46th year of the Chang'an calendar, the Great Liang dynasty was destroyed, and an era that was not brilliant but short-lived ended, just like a flash in the pan. You have fulfilled your long-cherished wish to avenge your mother. In the same year, the Yunchuan dynasty was established. The first emperor of the Yunchuan dynasty was the former princess of southern Xinjiang, Yunji. She was another empress in this land after 5,000 years. The name of Empress Yunchuan is destined to be famous throughout the ages. The yellow robe looks much better on you than on me. On the dragon chair, you and Yunzi are cuddling together. Your hair has long been gray, but she is getting younger and more graceful. Yunzi said, "Akwon, I have another gift to give you." What gift? Normally, you would have been frightened when you heard this, but now you are not afraid anymore, everything has been settled. The biggest plan in your life is to use it on your lover. You occasionally wonder, would it be lonely for her to live alone in the world? Yunzi takes you to an underground city. There is a huge furnace in the center of the city, which emits amazing heat, and the air is distorted by the high temperature. Yunzi leads you to the furnace. She bit her fingertip and her blood dripped into the furnace. The molten iron in the furnace began to boil. The roar of the dragon sounded in the dungeon. Whoosh! A sharp sword flew out of the furnace. It was only a 3-foot sword, but it caused the entire Yunchuan dynasty to roar with thousands of swords. It is the absolute emperor among swords. Akwon, do you like it? Yunzi looks at you with a smile. This is a peerless sword that she has cultivated every day with her heart and soul, and crafted it herself. The divine sword was born from the fire and entrusted with the affection of the beloved. You asked, "What's its name?" Not picked up yet. You and Yunzi have been together all your life, but you have left no heirs, but you have never felt regretful. It is enough to have your lover by your side for the rest of your life. From childhood sweetheart to beloved wife, we support each other and grow old together. Yunzi's heart is always with you, and you can feel it from beginning to end. You name the divine sword, Yunshin. The moment you hold the Yunxin divine sword, your old body is constantly changing, your white hair turns into blue hair, and you are full of energy. At the end of your life, you will reach your peak again. You know, this is a reflection of the light. You feel another soaring sword intent on the land of Yunchuan. Your best friend, the blind man, is unwilling to be lonely. He burns his own self and sublimates to the utmost. Blind man, how about another battle with the sky? You hold the sword and go to the sky. The blind man turned into a rainbow, walking side by side with you, soaring into the sky. The blind man smiled and said, "Old man Chuan, can you do it?" You hold the Yunxin sword tightly, your heart is like a mirror, extremely clear. The world always says that your sword is impure. The former number 1 wine immortal lord in the world also said the same. Your previous sword was indeed impure. But this sword is different, it is only for fighting against the sky. It is pure enough. The most powerful sword move you have learned in this life is called Sword 23. Under different circumstances, the Sword 23 displayed each time is different. The first time you used Sword 23 was to protect the princess and kill the killer god Ju Wuming. At that time, you contained extremely strong killing intent. Their name is the 23 Heaven-destroying and Jedi-destroying swords. The second time I used Sword 23 was in a battle with the world's #1 Jushanjin at that time. It carried countless friendships. The hatred of his mother Bai Susu, the loyalty of his father Lin Wuji, the difficulties of the old swordsman Li Chungying, the close friendship of the blind swordsman, and the long-cherished wish of countless soldiers in southern Xinjiang. And the protection of my lover Yun Ziyi. It is a sword move that needs to be interpreted with the various emotions of life. The name, 23 Swords of Love in Heaven and Earth. The third time you faced Examen Wushui, you still used this trick. The last time I used Sword 23 was at this moment. A pure sword, a sword move born for the sword. The name is 6 Destroying Selfless Sword 23. In that battle, you opened the heavenly gate with your swords, killed countless immortals, and forcibly broke the divine bridge connecting humans and immortals. Since the age of Zulong, another era without immortals has begun. The fate of the world is determined by the world. The so-called immortals and gods have no right to interfere. You fell from the sky and used your last breath to protect the blind man. Maybe he can still be an ordinary person, marry a wife and have children. At the last moment, you fell into a warm embrace. She is so beautiful, but you can't see her cheeks clearly. Lin Chuan slowly woke up from his dream. Another dream has ended. As expected of me, Lin Chuan is still very satisfied with this dream reincarnation. Although there are regrets about the love between Yun Ziyi and Yun Ziyi in the dream, he has no regrets. I'm such a good man. Give every girl in your dream a satisfying partner. Lin Chuan enjoyed this feeling very much. Anyway, they are all in a dream, and they leave immediately after waking up, without any burden, and there will be no love Shira field. Ding! The host has completed a complete dream reincarnation and gained 100,000 points this time. Since the intensity of this dream world reaches the standard, the host can receive an additional reward. Please choose 2 of the following rewards to receive them. Reward 1. Sword Moves Sword 23. Reward 2. Divine Sword Yunxin. Reward 3. A Battle with the Sky and a Dream Reincarnation Reflection Card. The things in the dream reincarnation appeared in front of Lin Chuan again, and they were similar to the dream rewards of the perfect female demon lord. Lin Chuan had already felt the power of Sword 23 in his dream. He took the award without any hesitation. The 3 sword moves then came into Lin Chuan's mind, but it was difficult to actually use them. His level was not high enough. Rewards 2 and 3 are also pretty good. The divine sword Yun Xin was forged by Yun Ziyi, his beloved in the dream, for him personally. He cultivated it with his heart's blood, and in the final battle with the sky, he created the most powerful sword in the world. On the road of spiritual practice, a handy weapon is very important. Needless to say, the reincarnation reflection card represents his highlight moment in the dream reincarnation, and it is also extremely powerful when reflected in reality. After repeated weighing, Lin Chuan still chose the divine sword Yun Xin. Prince Zhonghu and Perfect Female Demon Lord are both low-level fantasy dream reincarnations, and the intensity of the former is obviously lower than that of the latter. If divided according to the actual realm of cultivation, nourish the Qi realm, open the Pulse realm, soar into the Sky realm, Reborn realm, Divine Soul realm, Tianhe realm, Saint realm, and Supreme realm. The heavenly realm in Prince Zhonghu is roughly equivalent to the real Tianhe realm, and the so-called immortal is probably at the level of the Saint realm. The Demon Lord and Perfect Female Demon Lord is comparable to the Supreme Being. The White Sword God card that Lin Chuan obtained from the previous Perfect Female Demon Lord dream reincarnation is also comparable to the Supreme. So he chose the divine sword Yun Xin. Lin Chuan stretched out his hand and grasped the hilt of the virtual sword. The cloud heart of the divine sword gradually solidified, and with the sound of the sword, it was completely reflected in reality. Excalibur Yun Xin. Holding the sword in his hand, Lin Chuan seemed to be able to feel the deep affection of his beloved in his dream. What a fine sword! He waved it casually. The weight of the sword was appropriate, and it was easy to use, as if it was tailor-made. Go practice in the yard. Lin Chuan glanced at his daughter, Lin Rumeng, who was still sleeping on the bed, thinking that this girl should be awake and sleeping all the time. He was very well behaved and never woke him up. Arriving in the courtyard, Lin Chuan used the Burning Silence sword technique, which actually complemented the divine sword Yun Shin without any hindrance. Spiritual energy continues to pour into the body. Boom! Lin Chuan felt that the spiritual energy in his body had expanded to the extreme, continuously drilling into his meridians. This is a sign of entering the realm of opening pulses. Nourish qi in the body and open up spiritual veins. Lin Chuan did not expect that he would enter the second realm of spiritual practice so soon. Does dream reincarnation really have its own on-hook function to collect food? In any case, this is a good thing for him. Thinking of this, Lin Chuan sat cross-legged and calmly opened up his spiritual veins. According to the book, successfully opening up a spiritual vein for cultivation in the body is considered a breakthrough, and a normal monk's opening of 12 spiritual veins for cultivation is the pinnacle. Some geniuses can break the rules and open up the 13 meridians. In history, there were even peerless monsters who opened 14, 15, or even 16 meridians. The number of spiritual veins opened in the body and the width of the spiritual veins are the foundation of practice. The thicker the foundation, the higher the upper limit. This is the eternal truth. At the same time, Daoshan Prefecture, which is extremely far away from Qingyan Prefecture, is undergoing a shocking transformation. Daotianzhou is one of the continents in the Jushan realm, with powerful people like clouds. The 36 caves and 72 blessed places of Taoism are all located in this state. There is also a peerless strong man living in seclusion here. The earth trembles and the mountains shake, and a sword cuts across the world. Above Daotianzhou, there is a sword pointing towards the sky. The sword cuts through the clouds. The sword marks are deeply embedded in the void, combing the middle part of the sky. The ancestor is out of seclusion. A loud shout echoed across the mountains. The monks all over the mountains and plains were flying with their swords, heading towards the highest peak in Daotianzhou. The ancestor known to everyone as a swordsman of a generation. At first, everyone thought it was a blind man, but later the blind man killed a supreme-level demon lord with a single sword stroke. The people of Daotianzhou shouted, "Sword Immortal," and paid homage to him. The blind sword immortal did not establish a sect, but just lived in this mountain. Countless sincere swordsmen came to seek enlightenment, hoping to be taught 1.5 moves by the sword immortal. Even if it's just a casual suggestion. For swordsmen who are obsessed with swords, the blind swordsman's random advice is enough to be regarded as a lifetime treasure. The blind swordsman never responded to anyone. He occasionally practices swordplay on the top of the mountain, and he does not shy away from the public, and everyone can watch. Many sword cultivators gained enlightenment from it and considered themselves as disciples of the blind sword immortal. These people worked together to establish a sect at the foot of the mountain. Name: Wanjian Sect. The blind swordsman became the founding ancestor of Wanjian Sect. The ancestors coming out of seclusion is a great opportunity for the monks of Wanjian Sect. On the top of the mountain, there sat a swordsman dressed in shabby cloth, with black satin around his eyes, and the sword in his hand was stained with rust. I didn't expect that it was a big dream, but it inexplicably owed cause and effect. Linchuan, the blind swordsman muttered this name silently. Who is it? It can enter my mortal dream. The blind swordsman counted with his fingers, but he couldn't figure out where his best friend in the dream was. That's not even a dream. The person in the dream is the real person, the person in the mortal world. The best friend in the dream should also be real. There is another person who may be able to help me. With his mind blocked, the blind swordsman has no intention of practicing anymore, and is determined to find his best friend and solve the cause and effect, otherwise it will be difficult to break through in this life. The blind man is looking for the wife of his best friend in his dream. That Yunchuan Empress Yun Zi. It was much easier to calculate Yun Zi's location. After many deductions, the blind man determined Yun Zi's location. She is actually in the small world of Taoism's 72 blessed places. Daotianzhou is so huge that many monks spend their entire lives unable to leave a corner of Daotianzhou. In the space near Daotianzhou, small worlds are derived, containing countless opportunities. Among them, 108 small worlds are the most famous. They were inspired by Taoist ancestors and were named 36 caves and 72 blessed places. The next moment, the blind man's figure disappeared. Appearing again, he had arrived at the entrance to a special space. Who is coming? Get back quickly. This place is a Taoist green jade blessed land, and outsiders are not allowed to enter. Seeing the blind man who suddenly appeared, a group of monks in robes shouted loudly as if they were facing a powerful enemy. The blind man glanced at these people. Puff! All the Taoist monks stationed at the Jade Blessed Land vomited blood. The existence of the Taoist cave heaven Blessed Land is supposed to benefit the world. The Taoist ancestors enlightened the cave heaven Blessed Land not to let you use your power for personal gain. For your own selfish desires, you oppress countless living beings in the Blessed Land and deserve to die. Every word of the blind man was filled with infinite sword intent, which made the monks stationed at the Blessed Land look pale, as if they had been punished by thousands of swords piercing their hearts. These monks didn't understand until they died. Why would a foreign monk know the secret of the cave heaven paradise? The Taoist ancestor enlightened the Dongtian Blessed Land, with the original intention of giving all living beings in the world an additional way to practice Taoism, so that all those who are predestined can obtain the luck and blessings in the Dongtian Blessed Land. Taoist ancestors wanted to have a good relationship with the world. However, despite the sunshine, there are still moths infested. The creatures in the Jade Blessed Land should be able to develop freely. The so-called immortal layout to disrupt the luck is because these monks, in order to absorb the luck in the Blessed Land, violated the instructions of the Taoist ancestors and secretly blocked the path of the creatures in the Blessed Land. When he woke up from the dream, from an outsider's perspective, the blind man quickly saw everything clearly. To him, these are not worth mentioning. For the creatures in the small world of Qingyu Blessed Land, it is a subversive change. Everyone in the world has a chance to get ahead, and they will no longer be trapped by immortals. In the small world of Jade Blessed Land, the Yunchuan dynasty has been established for 300 years. Empress Yun Ziyi is still the same as she was when the country was founded. Akwon, I am finally here to accompany you. Sitting on the dragon chair, Yun Ziyi murmured to herself, limited by the rules of heaven and earth, her life had come to an end. For 300 years, she missed her husband Lin Chuan day and night. In recent years, she had an increasingly strong premonition in her heart, and a voice told her that Akwon might still be alive. If Akwon is really still alive, he may have been reincarnated. Yun Ziyi tried to ascend to this world. However, the rules of heaven and earth suppressed her and did not allow her to go any further. After the battle 300 years ago, the gate of heaven was closed and the immortal never appeared again. Akwon, if you really are still living in another world, please guide my soul in the dark. Ziyi still wants to. I want to be your wife forever, and be by my side forever. Yun Ziyi's eyes were blurred with tears, and his vitality gradually disappeared. At this moment, the rules of heaven and earth that had been restricting her were loosened. Yun Ziyi saw a person who was Akwon's close friend 300 years ago. Blind man, you. Are you still alive? Yun Ziyi couldn't believe it. Is the blind man who fought with Achuan 300 years ago alive? So, is Akwon still alive? A strong desire to survive broke out in Yun Ziyi's body, and the loose rules of heaven and earth could no longer limit her realm. He is still alive. The blind man spoke. Where is Akwon? Yun Ziyi was extremely excited. I only know that he is still alive, maybe he has been reincarnated, or he is hiding on purpose. The blind man is not sure either. Is the best friend in the dream a powerful reincarnation, wakes up from the dream and leaves, or is he reincarnated and reborn, his memory has been sealed away? He must have been reincarnated. Yun Ziyi said firmly. If Akwon is still alive, he will definitely come to see him. Maybe so. The blind man said. If he has been reincarnated and needs you to find him, you should know some things. The blind man stretched out his hand a little, and a ray of light penetrated into the center of Yun Ziyi's eyebrows. A large amount of information about the Jushan realm and the Jade Blessed Land came into Yun Ziyi's mind. I see. Yun Ziyi finally understood the reason why he could not break through. It turned out that the world he was in was just a corner of the 9 phases realm. Without the help of the blind man, she might have died of regret. Now, a new opportunity lies before her. Akwon, I will definitely find you again. Compared with her own difficulties, she cares more about the love of her life. You have been blessed with the luck of the Jade Blessed Land for 300 years. This is a blessing. Please refine it and stabilize your own realm. At that time, you can go find Lin Chuan. The blind man left a message and left. Yun Zi digested many memories about the nine-phase realm, the most important of which was the knowledge of cultivation. The 8 realms of practice in the nine-phase realm are: nourish the Qi realm, open the pulse realm, soar into the sky realm, reborn realm, divine soul realm, Tianhe realm, saint realm, and supreme realm. Above this, there is a legendary realm that ordinary people cannot recite. My current state is probably between the Tianhe state and the saint state. After refining the 300 years of luck in the Jade Blessed Land, I can ascend to the saint state and hope to be supreme. In the nine-phase realm, there are probably not a few people who are stronger than the supreme realm. It is a big challenge for her to find Akwon in the vast world. I hope Akwon hasn't married and had children at that time. The reincarnated body has no memory and may have another marriage. Yun Zi was very conflicted. If this happened, she didn't know how to deal with it. Maybe turn around and leave. Or perhaps ask for an identity confidently. Until then, how will we know? Qingyunzhou, Dian Dynasty, Lin Mansion. Half a month passed in an instant. Lin Chuan not only stepped into the realm of opening pulses, but also opened up 3 spiritual veins with the largest width in his body, showing his extraordinary talent. In the past half-month, he has not entered a long dream cycle again. They are all random dreams, and the sleep time is very short. During this period, he discovered a strange problem. His daughter, Rumong, turned out to be a sleeping treasure. In the last dream reincarnation of Prince Zhonghu, Lin Chuan slept for 10 days. Afterwards, he asked the maid Luya. Luya said, "Master, Mengmeng slept with you for 10 days and didn't wake up." During this period, Lin Yangyang also went to the room to have a look. Xiao Rumong did not wake up. This girl's sleep time seems to be synchronized with Lin Chuan's. Xiao Rumong's appearance was unexpected, but she somehow recognized him as her father without saying anything, and it was so strange in itself. Not like normal people at all. Fortunately, apart from Lin Chuan and his sister, only Lu Ya, the maid who had served him since childhood, knew about this. Otherwise, if word spreads, outsiders will definitely say that Xiao Rumong is a monster. Maybe it really is a demon. Lin Chuan smiled to himself. Mengmeng is so good, even if he is a demon, he must still be a demon. Lin Chuan didn't know what happened to him. It's obviously such a weird thing, but once I see my daughter's cuteness and her big innocent eyes, I will automatically think of the best. Dad, why do you keep looking at Mengmeng? Xiao Rumong asked with her eyes wide open. Fine. Lin Chuan held his daughter in his arms. Auntie is back, let's go find her for dinner, okay? Great. Lin Rumong is like a pistachio. I am happy at all times and sleep with a sweet smile. When I came to the main hall, I happened to see Lin Yangyang, who was rushing back from the journey. Since the news that Lin Chuan was a monk spread, Lin's firm's reputation has become more and more famous, and its business has grown bigger and bigger. Lin Yangyang just went to the county town to do business, and it took him half a month to go back and forth. Sister, how is business in the county? So, Lin Yangyang said. The business has grown, I have come into contact with more and more people, and I have met a few strange flowers. Lin Chuan smiled lightly. What's wrong? Lin Yangyang said. The eldest son of Jin's trading company in the county wants to marry me. These people are really disgusting. Seeing that you have a daughter, they are targeting me again. Over the years, Lin Yangyang has had no shortage of suitors. Not to mention that Lin Yangyang was originally a hero among women, with a huge wealth. Her appearance, figure and temperament were also first-rate, and she was a complete beauty. Naturally, there were many suitors, but she rejected them all. There were 2 reasons for her refusal. First, she was afraid that outsiders would care about the family property and secretly bully her younger brother Lin Chuan. Secondly, she has no intention of getting married. If possible, she wouldn't mind living with her brother for the rest of her life. Just reject him. Lin Chuan didn't want his sister to marry anyone at will, at least if it was someone she liked, otherwise no one would be able to marry. Of course I rejected him, but his family is somewhat powerful and has caused a lot of trouble to the trading company. Lin Yangyang sighed. If the news gets out that I am a cultivator, our Lin family may never have peace. After obtaining the practice method of burning silence sword Ju, Lin Yangyang also started his journey of practice, and would practice meditation whenever he had free time. When going out to do business, they would meditate and practice in the caravan carriage. When you are strong in the future, you don't have to worry about those things. With the dream reincarnation card in hand, Lin Chuan would naturally not let his sister suffer. By the way, sister, how is your practice? I don't know what to say, just so. Regarding the determination of cultivation talent, Lin Yang had not learned anything about it. He only practiced step by step. Based on the realm, I should be at the pulse opening realm now. I have probably opened 6 spiritual veins. I should be fine, right? How many? Lin Chuan was startled. Lin Yang said blankly, 6 spiritual veins have been opened for cultivation. What's wrong? Lin Chuan thinks he is a genius. Unexpectedly, his sister is even more incredible than him. How long has it been since he reached the 6th level of the pulse opening realm? With such a talent, he can become a direct disciple of most cultivation forces. No wonder even after he was reborn, he was far inferior to his sister in business. How dare he think that his sister was a super genius who had been buried? Seeing Lin Chuan's abnormal reaction, Lin Yang became even more confused. Chuaner, tell me, what level do I belong to? If this was not his own sister, Lin Chuan would seriously suspect that the other party was in Versailles. After a long time, Lin Chuan handed over a book. See for yourself. I've finished reading the book. Lin Yang couldn't recover for a long time. So, I am a super genius monk. The book says that it usually takes more than half a month for a monk to sense spiritual energy. In addition to introducing the spiritual energy into the body adapts, and the whole process moves around. The whole process takes up to 3 months. Only in this way can we enter the threshold of nourishing qi. It only took her half a month to reach the state of opening her veins and open up 6 spiritual veins for cultivation. And she has missed the best age to start practicing. If he had come into contact with cultivation earlier, he might have become a great monk. What are you thinking about? It's great to have what you have now. Lin Yang suppressed her thoughts. She was not a greedy person. If I get it, I am lucky, but if not, it is fate. She is very happy with the results so far. Sister, why don't you give up the business and let us, brother and sister, concentrate on our practice? Treasures and worldly things will have less and less effect on us. As a practitioner, he has made such rapid progress. Lin Chuan wanted to give up his business and devote himself to practice with his sister to avoid causing more trouble. The firm cannot give up. Lin Yang shook his head. The book says that cultivation requires more than just talent. A wealthy couple from Dharma and land is indispensable. Recently, my food intake has been increasing day by day, and my practice consumption has increased significantly. It will definitely increase explosively in the future. If you just immerse yourself in cultivation, where will you get the resources to practice? As a businessman, Lin Yang hit the nail on the head and saw the most acute issues. It seems reasonable. Lin Chuan's idea is much simpler. Because of the existence of the system, he felt that everything could be solved in the dream cycle, lacking careful thinking. Normally, my sister Lin Yang should think like this. Lin Yang smiled and said, the business of the trading house is still going to be done, but it has to change. It is going to be the business of monks, not the business of mortals. Although he has very little contact with monks now, Lin Yang is very confident that as his level improves, everything will fall into place. In essence, they are all transactions, and she is confident that she can handle them. You don't have to worry about the business of the business, just leave it to my sister. Lin Yang held his head high and said, my sister was able to pull you up and raise you when you were young, and she can also ensure that you have no worries about the resources for your cultivation path in the future. Hey, then I'll hug my sister's thigh tightly. Lin Chuan is used to this. From childhood to adulthood, he and his sister depended on each other and supported each other. Even if his sister can't make today's promise, he will help her fulfill it. In the void outside Lin Mansion, the 4 demon kings of Yunmeng ancient forest looked at this scene with twinkling eyes. The Lord said that as long as we can restore Mr. Lin Chuan's memory, he will teach us the way to enter the supreme realm. We have been trapped in the saint realm for how many years? Perhaps this is our only chance. The golden-winged Tiger King's eyes were burning. Tiger King, what do you think we should do? Asked the charming 3-headed Snake King. If you want to help Mr. Lin Chuan recover his memory, you must find a suitable reason to approach him, but Mr. Lin Chuan is either playing with the young master or sleeping. There just wasn't a proper opportunity. In my opinion, it's better to use boss Lin Chuan's sister to do things. She wants to do business in the spiritual world and needs a guide. We can take this opportunity to join in the cooperation. The Golden Winged Tiger King revealed his plan. The Black Flame Bird King smiled and said, Lin Yangyang's talent seems to be stronger than that of boss Lin Chuan. Maybe he was also a supreme power in his previous life. The Golden Winged Tiger King nodded. So, it is not a bad thing to please these two siblings. What awaits us in the future is a bright road. The four demon kings reached an agreement on this point. Boom, boom, boom. Just at this moment, there was a knock on the door of Lin Mansion. Miss, Master, there is a group of strangely dressed people outside. They say they are the secret guards of the government and want to see you too. The servants hurriedly came to report. Invite them in. Lin Yangyang was not surprised. Since the news that his younger brother was a monk had spread, people from the government would definitely come. She even felt it was a little late. After a while, 3 people walked into the courtyard. All 3 of them were wearing black brocade clothes with patterns similar to fish embroidered on their belts. The fish has 2 wings, I don't know what the meaning is. The difference is that the leader's belt is embroidered with 3 fish patterns, while the 2 followers each have only 1 fish pattern. Wu Fifan, the demon-slaying envoy of the 3 patterns of the demon-slaying division, came to investigate Lin Chuan, a practitioner of the Lin family in Yushui County, and the Bean Demon on the order of the director. Demon Slayer Division. This was the first time for the Lin siblings to hear the name of this organization. Easy to understand. I guess it was the monk department directly under the imperial power. I am willing to cooperate with the investigation. Lin Chuan handed over his hand and asked the maid to pour a cup of hot tea for the 3 demon slayers. Demon Slayer Wu Fifan's eyes fell on Lin Yangyang. According to the confession of demon exterminator Zhao Zhiming, there is only 1 monk in the Lin family, Lin Chuan, and he is in the qi nourishing realm. Why do I feel the breath of practitioners in both of you, sister and brother, and it is the pulse opening state, not the qi nourishing state. On the night when you killed the hidden wall demon, you concealed your cultivation. Killing demons makes Wu Fifan sharp-eyed and powerful without anger. Right. Lin Chuan took the words and said with a smile, concealing your cultivation should not violate the laws of the great Yan dynasty, right? Certainly. Wu Fifan's expression remained unchanged, but in order to prevent demons from entering and causing trouble by pretending to be human monks, I have to ask you 2 to cooperate with me in routine inspections. As he spoke, he took out a mirror. This is a demon-detecting spiritual mirror. It can identify demonic auras. If you 2 input a trace of spiritual power into the mirror, you can prove your innocence. Good. The Lin family siblings had a clear conscience and did as they were told. After the spiritual energy entered, the demon-detecting mirror did not respond for a long time, which proved that the Lin siblings were not demons, and they were most likely not demon cultivators. Wu Fifan clasped his fists. Since you 2 are monks, you can register with the Demon Slayer division to become a private demon slayer, accept tasks, and get rewards. There are many things that need to be paid attention to on the road of spiritual practice. Sometimes it is not a good thing to hide them too deeply. How you want to do it depends entirely on your own conscience. I will take my leave. After the matter was done, the 3 demon slayers turned around and left without any hesitation. I don't know if it's good or bad to be targeted by the Demon Slayer division. Lin Chuan sighed. He was worried that after his and his sister's cultivation talents were exposed, some people would covet them, which would be a big trouble. This matter cannot be kept secret for long. Lin Yangyang smiled casually and looked at it broadly. In my opinion, the advantages of this matter outweigh the disadvantages. The Yan dynasty needs powerful monks. If we show our talents, we can get support from the government and obtain more resources. As for the coveting of those with evil intentions, what is supposed to come will eventually come. At the age of 6 or 7, he learned how to do business from his parents. At the age of 12, he took over Lin's trading company and had to take care of his younger brother who was only 3 years old at the time. Lin Yangyang has experienced too much suffering. Along the way, were there still many people who wanted to bring down the Lin family? In the end, they were wiped out. Is the spiritual world more dangerous? Why haven't you become stronger? What's more, she managed it alone back then. Now that her brother has grown up and is by her side, what does she have to fear? Virtual space. The four demon kings are still discussing, and the more they look at it, the more something seems wrong. The golden-winged tiger king frowned. Why do I think this sister's aura is much better than that of Mr. Lin Chuan? In front of Lin Yangyang, boss Lin Chuan seemed to be really a younger brother. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.